Welcome on in. I guess we got one going. Thank you for the subs. Hold on, I'm gonna check something real quick. Okay. All right, thank you guys. Hold on, I gotta, I'm scrolling back. We're going chronological order. Okay, Break, thank you for the 31 months. Rendos, thank you for the 27. Ratchet, thank you for the 14. Darth Chewy, 31. Out Reamer, thank you for the 5 gifted. Welcome on in. RuneCat, thank you for 37 months. Gunny Mac, thank you for 20. Crafter, thank you for 5 gifted. Taka, thank you for 5 gifted. Kulin, thank you for 39 months. J Mitch, thank you for 5 gifted. Josh, thank you for 5 gifted as well. Rudy with 5 gifted. Derpington, thank you for 10. Q-Tip, 10. Enzreal, 10. 10 gifted both of you. Thank you, thank you. Wasted Mind, thank you for 3 months. Captain Mod, 1 gifted sub. Festivore, thank you for the tier 3 for 43 a month. Silent Able, thank you for 5 gifted subs. Rue, thank you for 2 months. And Spiders for Breakfast, thank you for 2 months as well. Thank you all, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Huge. I know they disabled, I think, treasure trains for, I don't know if it's all of September or it's just like the end thing, but it's nice to see that they're still doing the golden kappas, so it's good. Very good. I found a TikTok that I want to show you guys. It's really important. It's really important. Okay, I want us to celebrate this golden kappa train with potentially one of my most favorite TikToks I've ever found. Ren, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Yeah, let's celebrate this golden kappa train with a great piece of media. You're all gonna love it, especially anyone here from the UK. I know about close to 10% of my audience is from the UK, and this one's for you guys, okay? Very specifically for you guys, because I'm tired of your shit, okay? Uh-huh. Just faking about it, and he just I can't. It's so good. It's so good. I had this friend when I was in school from the UK who was who was very British. Very British and said Fankin and like unironically is just the way his accent was. And I remember him saying something. I don't remember what it was. It was some sort of normal name of a food that we were calling it, you know, and we were like, oh, this thing, and then he called it something else, right? He had some funny word for it that just did not sound like it at all. Like calling a sausage a banger, right? Things like that. He called it something, but I remember it sounding ridiculous, and we were like, what? What? And he was like, the thing, and we were like, what? He was like this, and I was like, oh my god, okay, it's just another word for food, got it. And I was like, I like didn't find it that funny. I was just like, oh, okay, like it was a little silly, but fine. And then he made it his like his entire life's mission to only use the most British word he could for everything forever. If there was an American word or a word Americans would understand, he'd try to replace it if there was one. And he wasn't making them up. He was only using like legit ones.
Moo.
He started doing this stupid is it a Cockney thing, I think, where you call like the stairs the apples and pears. And like, he started doing that. He started doing the Cockney rhyming and shit. And I was like, there's no way any of us are gonna know any of those, dude. Like, that's not, none of us are gonna know any. And he kept doing it Because that's like where his family was from. You know, his family would say a lot of this stuff, especially the older members. And I was like, dude, like, I was like, some of these words, like, a lot of us would actually be able to know or figure out, but that one, none of us are gonna know what the fuck that is, you know? And he would do it all the time. So when I saw this TikTok, I was like, oh, that reminds me of him. Because he would like have this diabolical laugh while doing it. He thought it was so funny, and we were all like, you're just unintelligible. That's all you've done here. And he would just be like the whole time. Oh, it's my favorite TikTok though. I love that one so much. Just faking about it. God, get a few context. If there's context, yes, but sometimes, like, oh, going up the old apple and pears, we'd be like, what? What? I don't know. And like, you know, over time, we learned a lot of them. Once we figured out what he was doing, we were like, okay, now we can look this up and figure it the fuck out easy. Banana fish pea soup would go hard and scramble. Oh. We need the Nova chicken and can of Coke clip. Does anyone have it? Put in the Discord. It's my friend trying to do the chicken and a can of Coke bit, and it just sounded horrific. John Hollick, thank you for the 10 gifted. Contriver, thank you for 12 months. Little Sugar Bear, thank you for 2 months. Storm Phoenix, thank you for 3 months. Brew, thank you for the 5 gifted. Sadakat, thank you for 5 gifted as well. Philbro with the 12 months. Jamieson with the 5 gifted. Logman with the 21 months. Moravar with a prime. Ren with 5 gifted. Thank you all. Thank you all. Oh, Brandon, thank you for a gifted sub as well. Yeah, you have to give bits or a gifted sub or something if you want the golden kappa, right? I don't know. Is there a limit? Is it like 100 bits or is it anything? I think if it were anything, people would just spam 1 bit, right? So I think it's like, or is it 500? I don't know. I actually don't know. 100? Okay. It's not too bad then. It's $1 US. Said everyone gives British food shit, but Finnish food is 10 times more fucked up. There's fucked up stuff everywhere in Europe, if I'm being honest. Northern and Western, like the Anglo-Saxon area and then the Nordic area. Typically just has a lot of fucked up food, in my opinion. In my opinion as someone who has been able to have the glory and privilege of living in a place where you get to eat fucking everything and try everything, okay? I gotta say, I've eaten some fucked up food, but man, standard fare
Gotta
in
take
some
the
parts.
good with the bad.
Oof.
Can't have Kringle without lutefisk.
Yeah, right? Like, it's a balance. It's a balance. At least a lot of the American food that's bad, it's more that it's bad for you than it's actually bad. It's just unhealthy, but it's delicious. There are some things that are disgusting, though, for sure, but that's usually, like, struggle food. Like, people didn't eat that because they liked it. They ate it because they didn't have anything else. You know? You like the U.S., but food in Brazil is just better, makes you homesick? I think the thing is with the U.S. is it's so big and it's so different everywhere you go that you can't group it together. Even Brazil is huge. I don't think you can be like, oh, the food in Brazil is better because, yeah, in certain areas it's going to be really good. In other areas it's going to be shit because they don't have anything in certain areas. They don't have variety, you know? I think you can say that more so about like some European countries, right? Because they're a lot smaller, especially. It really doesn't matter where they are. It's just about the size of them. It's very, very different, like, depending on where you're talking about. Because especially, like, I'm very biased. I think, like, I'm like, oh, U.S. food is good in the back of my mind because I'm from New York, where food is very different, right? Or people always be like, oh, everything in the U.S. tastes weird because it's so sugary. But there's a lot less of that in a lot of the New York food because so many immigrants live there. So the standard is, like, real bread without sugar and, you know, shit like that. You can get both. So, you know, it really depends on where you are. It really depends on where you are. And then it depends on how much money you make or what you have access to. Some areas you can get, like, really good stuff that doesn't taste stereotypically American. if you have more money. But if you're living cheaper, then you eat the more typical shit, or, you know, vice versa. So it's different where you are. So it's interesting.
Better the golden kappa than the golden corral, am I right?
You're right.
Hope you're having a great weekend. I survived Long Island traffic.
Ooh.
The only time I'm glad truck come is an automatic.
Oh, yeah, I would hate... Anytime I've had to go out there, it's just... Man. Rough traffic. I don't think non-US folks understand what US supermarkets look like.
Kappa.
No, I think they've only seen a Walmart picture. They don't really get it. Go look up a Stop and Shop. You'll understand. They won't understand, actually. Culturally, a lot of strong borders in Europe too when it comes to food. Yeah, it's true. Whereas in the US, it's more blended. You know, when someone is like, oh, this state is known for this thing, it doesn't mean everyone in that state has had that thing. It's probably like a thing in one or two cities in that state, and those people in those cities know what that thing is. But then outside of those cities, a lot of those people probably just don't really, you know, like New York pizza. The state of New York does not have good pizza. New York City has good pizza, but the state is huge, and New York City is like all the way at the southern tip of it and really concentrated. You go to like a bit north of New York City, go a couple hours north, and the pizza starts to get pretty not good. It's better the closer you are, so it's still better than like being several states out, but you know, it's not that good. So that's just how it is. NYC having good pizza is debatable. Well, it's because there are 5,000 minimum. There are more than that pizza shops, and some of them are not going to be as good as others. But there's a lot of competition, so overall the standard is better, because if you have a bad pizza shop, it's not going to stay open. Also, I always see people be like, oh, the pizza in this city nearby, they'll be like, New Haven is better, or they'll be like, oh, this borough is better. It's about the individual shops. It's not about the location. Northeast generally has all of the good pizza places, and then some of them are a little spread out, right? Like, if you ask me which ones are the best, I'm going to be like, this one in Brooklyn, that one in Queens, this one in Manhattan, this one in New Haven. You know what I mean? Like, the two shops next to each other are not going to taste exactly the same, or not going to be cooked exactly the same. So, you know, let me be a hater piece. No, the only hater here is me. You're not allowed. You're not allowed. I will never let you have it. Never, ever. Water for bagels. I feel like the water is a small part of it, actually. I feel like it's the technique more than anything, but it's the machinery they use, in my opinion. Bye! Thank you for the raid. Welcome on in. We were talking about regional food. And thank you guys for the golden kappa train! Completed at level 10. Thank you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. You said there's a thing called the Pizza Belt, where Northeast has higher quality pizza than anywhere else in America. Yeah, it's just the standard. I mean, you go outside, if you're driving out from the Northeast, out in any direction, you either go further northeast, or you go west and you get to the Midwest, or you go south and you head toward the south. And Midwest and South, compared to the Northeast, are areas that have less money overall, right? Outside of just the cities, right? But overall, on average, people have less money. Lower income, especially in these more spread out areas that are kind of in between the city areas. So what kind of pizza are they going to have? Cheap chains, like fucking Domino's and stuff, and it's like not that good. And that's what they've got. You know? So that's why, like, yeah, when you leave the Northeast, there's this buffer of like not good pizza, and then the good pizza doesn't really kind of go out of the Northeast very much, because like all the areas between New York City and then the next cities over, you know, like Philly pizzas can be okay, but it's like 3 to 4 hours away from New York City if you're driving. It's pretty far. Assuming there's traffic. And with no traffic, you can make it quicker, but you know. And then down from there, it's another like 3-ish hours to DC. You know, it's very far. So yeah, there's not really gonna be much spread. And then if you're going straight west from New York City, you're passing over Philadelphia. What's your next city? Fucking all the way in western PA? Like, There's like nothing west. It just, you just go, yeah, Pittsburgh, exactly. Western PA. Like there's nothing in between New York City and Pittsburgh, which is basically on the border. It's not there, but it's like close. It's not far from the border of Ohio. So you're basically starting to hit the Midwest. You're right. You're out in like the Pennsylvania part of Pennsylvania. So like a lot of the people in between the New York City area and the Pittsburgh area, a lot of those people are just living kind of rural. If you're going outside of you know, like Hershey and a couple of the like Lancaster, right? There are a couple areas that are a little more dense, but not much. Everything else is like, you know, lower income, all that, until you hit Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh is not really a super high income city. I think it's beautiful, by the way, though. I actually like Pittsburgh. I think it's pretty. But yeah, so it's just like a lot of areas where you're not going to have like all these mom and pop pizza shops in the middle of rural PA popping up, right? You're going to have like chain pizza. And the people there are not going to develop a taste for like excellent pizza or something, because you can't make that available. It's expensive to make that happen. So you end up with what? Pizza not really flowing west. So yeah, the pizza kind of goes from New York City and then upward, the good ones, because that's where the people with like money are, and they can sustain all the mom and pop shops. And then everywhere where there's like a little less money, all the mom and pop stores start dying, and you end up with chains. And all the good food just like goes away. It's terrible, man. The fall off in wealth of Pittsburgh once you get past the suburbs is pretty jarring. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, I gotta say, I was in Pittsburgh a couple times for like work related stuff, and really nice. I don't remember the name of the park. The park at the tip where the river meets. It like makes a Y shape, right? Or it splits off. I don't remember which direction it's flowing. Either the river splits off or meets together. And there's that, yeah, Point Park, that one. Really nice. Really nice park. And then when you're downtown and you're walking, if it's the spring and a lot of those trees are flowering, there are a lot of dogwoods and things, really beautiful walking around the downtown streets. Pittsburgh is just like gorgeous downtown. But dogwoods smell like jizz. Like old, crusty, nasty, like rotten, you know? And it's awful. People often say this about dogwood trees. I don't know if you've been near them when they're flowering. It's like really bad. And for some reason, okay, there was this part of Pittsburgh that I was walking in where they just lined the entire street with dogwoods, and I was there right when they were flowering, and I was like, what is this? It was like the air was thick with it. It was disgusting. Let me see if I can find it. Downtown Pittsburgh. What street was it? It was near like a bunch of the hotels. Let me see if I can find it, dude. There was this street that was just lined with dogwood trees, and I was like, why? Why would you do this, man? I was staying in this hotel that was like an older historical one. It was beautiful. And outside of it were just nothing but dogwood trees, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm here in the spring when they're all flowering and they smell like garbage. God, I hate them. I hate them so much. Let me see if I can find, where was I staying? Where the hell was this? Which avenue was it? It's like when you it's near Bigelow Square and all that. Oh, was it Grant Street? Hold on, I'm gonna street view and find the street I was on so I could show you these fucking trees. Yeah. Grant Street. And there's this like beautiful church and everything. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna take a picture and show you every single tree you see in this picture is a dogwood tree. Look at this. Look at this. I had to walk from my hotel down this road, and this entire road, the sides and the middle, every tree is a dogwood tree. Okay? Like every single one. And when they're flowering, they're beautiful, like these little white flowers, so cute. But then they smell like rotten flesh, and you're just walking past them, and you're like, you know, like it's oh my god, it was horrible. And then I walked one street down, and like you could still kind of smell them an entire block away. I was like, Jesus Christ. Anyway, Pittsburgh was beautiful outside of that, but yeah, right, like Old Cum Street, right? It was like it was terrible, and I was walking with a coworker. And I said to her, I was like, she was like, these trees smell so bad. And I looked at her and I was like, what do they smell like to you? And she was like, I don't know, like wet dog. I was like, oh, okay. Good shout. That's a good shout. That's a good one. They do. which is true. It actually smelled like low tide and wet dog mixed together. God, it was horrible. Oh, it's so bad. Anyway, Pittsburgh, beautiful city, but God, there's that one time a year when the dogwoods start all flowering, and it is just bad. It's just bad for a couple weeks until they're done spewing pollen everywhere. It's awful just thinking about it. Just thinking about it. Vibe check the coworker to see if the could be upgraded to a class 2. It's not about like whether the person has personally smelled the thing, just if they know, right? I was vibe checking. I was like, what does that smell like to you? She and I did still become friends. But she was like, she's not the type to say it, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, that's fine. That's fine. Nashville is a similar problem with dogwoods. I think dogwoods are a really popular, like, decorative tree because they're hardy and they look beautiful. You can piss on it and it won't die, you know? Love a dogwood tree. But, man, they just, oof. At least the smell thing is short-lived. And it's not so bad if there's just like one tree and there's a nice breeze passing through, then it's not really going to be a problem. But when you have the whole street covered in them, it's like so bad. So it reminds me of a Mitchell and Webb skit about how the United States gifted a ton of dogwood trees to Britain, and Queen Victoria was complaining about how they smelled of cum. Yeah. Anyway, moral of this story of this opening screen today. I don't like dogwood trees very much. Please stop planting them everywhere. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Anyway. We can't do a super long stream today. For the record, I have to be gone in 5 hours. Actually, you know what? That's a full stream. 5.5 is basically a full stream. I do a lot of like 7-8 hour streams, 9 even, so you know. So maybe it doesn't even matter to say it. Whatever. So just use cheeky soap. It's true. Have you guys tried Bahami Mommy? They have a new one. Have you tried it? I'm gonna link it. I'm gonna show it, and then you're gonna buy it through my link, actually. They got Bahami Mummy. It's a new flavor that they just released. And it's like, it's delicious. It's delicious. Look at this. Bahami Mommy. It's blue. Tropical fruits. It smells like bomb pops. It kind of does, right? It kind of does smell like bomb pops, but like not overly sweet. It smells like something that would be sweet, but then it doesn't give you that sickeningly sweet smell. Anyway, please. It's time. It's time for Bahami Mummy. It smells so good. So nice. Got another con or something? On a Sunday night? No, no, no. They're always closed by then. No. I have real life. I have real life. Just so you guys know, sometimes I do things. Which is why maybe like I might say, oh, I can only stream until this time because like there's a thing I have to do and it requires going outside. So, yeah. That's what we're doing today. So, yeah. Real life. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that nuts? It's real life. Real life. That's where the pollen is. I don't really have big pollen issues. Only when it's like the worst do I have a little allergy issue, but for the most part, like I'm fine. I don't really get affected by it, thankfully. How's the medical checks going? I'm not gonna give you guys updates on my health unless it's like I think important to tell you. I just won't. Cause you know, I think it's like a bad idea. I think. Might not be, I don't know, you just never know, but I feel like it's a bad idea. So yeah, I'm not gonna give like any frequent updates. I gave you guys like one giant update. And then at some point later, if I feel a reason to at all, then I'll do like another one. I think I'll do it like that. How else can we grow up our social relationship? Well, exactly, right? Like, I feel like bringing people along on the health journey is a great way to like stress them the fuck out and then make them think they're like somehow involved even though they're like not. That's my issue, you know? Like, you know what I mean? And I think some people would just listen to the update and be like, oh, okay, right? But then there are other people that would be like, I have to save her from my computer where I can do nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to make anyone feel like that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Can we get an update on Boris instead? Yeah, he's currently wearing his helmet because I left my drink on his head and it left a stain. He has like a ring on his head and he's a little embarrassed about it. And we have to scrub extra tonight. So, yeah, he's got his helmet on today because you could see it. Which you can see if you get the what? The coaster. The coaster. Let me get the picture. Let me get the pic. Let me get it. I think it might be my most favorite item in the collection. I like, it's hard because I really like the shirt. I really like the poster. I really like the challenge coin pin. Like, I like all of these things, but I really like the coaster. Look. We have a fabric coaster. This is the art that's on it. So you can put your drink on Boris's head. Loving the coaster so far. It's been great for warm things. Yeah. I'll put my tea on it in the morning. Put my tea on it. I like a fabric coaster because I can actually, like, if it gets nasty for any reason, if I spill on it, I can just throw it in the wash. I don't have to, like, add it to the dish pile to scrub. You know what I mean? So I like these. It's a tiny bit on the small side. Most of my things are just a little too large for it. How big are your mugs, dude? Just get a taller cup. Get a taller cup, not wide. Didn't realize it was gonna be fabric. Yeah. Well, it should be in the description of it, but yeah, I prefer a fabric coaster over all hard ones for like daily use. I think a hard coaster is nice when you have people over and you're like, "Here's your coaster." It's fancy. But if I'm using one for my desk so I don't get shit all over my desk mat, and I just want to like use it every day, I much prefer this, personally. It's a waterproof fabric. It's lycra. But yeah, I really like the art. Originally, the first idea was I like told the artist to maybe have his hand up so he's like holding it, kind of like, what's a good example? Oh, you get an item in Zelda. You're playing Wind Waker. You get an item. His big head is there, but then his arm is up, and then there's an item. Kind of like that pose. And I was like, I kind of want that. But then Moki drew this and was like, okay, but what if we What if we put it on his head? And I was like, ooh, put a ring of moisture. And we cooked. We cooked. I really like working with Monkey. They're good. We just sit there and like go back and forth a couple times, and we like land on stupid shit like this every time. It's so good. It's so good. I love it. I love it. What kind of tea do you drink? Sorry to be so parasocial. You're just asking a tea question. Usually just black tea. There are a lot of different ones that I like, but that's like the... If I don't know what to pick, I'll just go with black tea. Guys. Need to order one of those challenge coins at some point. Yeah, I need to ask them for a... I need a stock update to see how much we have left. Everything on the website is gonna say, like, available until it's sold out. I don't think we have it start telling you when it's in low supply, or, like, only one left. It might. Let me see. Let me see if it does for any. I don't know that it does. I know the polos are in really short supply. You know, it doesn't say. It doesn't say. So, it won't warn you with that. It's just, if there are any in stock, it will say in stock, and if anything is gone, it will be gone. It'll say sold out. So the sticker sheet, for example, is sold out. But yeah, the other stuff, I'll have to check. I'll have to check. Plushies are on sale. Yeah, the plushies are on sale right now, and we have a bundle price as well. If you wanted all three, it makes them a bit easier. I got a silver one that taught me that gambling is wrong. Exactly. That's what it's all about here. That's what it's all about. You got a gold coin? Nice. Yeah, it's, what, 1 in every 10? It's an okay chance. It's an okay chance. I like to put stickers on my hard case luggage, and had a GEEGA would give me the head nod. Really? Ooh, in the airport. A few people have commented that they've gotten, like, people saying things about their shirts when they wear the shirt. People have pointed that out, or the old hoodie that we did with GamerSups a while back. Yep. Got all 3. The creatures and monsters were put to work quickly. Bought 1 coin, got 1 gold. Ooh, yeah, you got it twisted. You got it twisted. I like them, though. I was thinking of... Apparently, a bunch of people have pulled the pin part off the back of it so they can use it like a normal challenge coin. Would you guys want a normal challenge coin version? I feel like it's a little redundant since it's already in pin form. I don't know. I feel like you should... I don't want you guys to, like, have to pull it apart. Yes? Do you guys actually use challenge coins, though? Like, in general? You thought it was a challenge coin, didn't know there was the pin? Even though the name on the site is challenge coin pin? Even though it says GEEGA challenge coin pin? It's very interesting, very interesting. I was thinking the other idea is to make it into a magnet. To stick to something. It could be good. I don't know what a challenge coin is or how to use it. Yeah, that's why I made it a pin, because I was like, well, I don't think everyone's in the habit of, like, doing that. It's an old drinking thing and / military thing, basically. And a lot of people have exchanged challenge coins. And the thing is, in military, for example, you often get a challenge coin of your own related to where you're from, what thing you're a part of. Especially if you were a higher rank, you often get a unique challenge coin. Okay, and it designates, like, this is mine, and I'm a person of this level. And then sometimes people will bet their challenge coin, and people will then receive it. So then someone could be like, hey, I have this rare one from this lieutenant, right? Like, etc., etc. And then that kind of... It just became a thing for a lot of people in some sort of service. It's like more serious pogs. Almost. And so it just kind of like goes from there. And so people have like very unique ones, etc. Also, just give them out as a way to show your respect or acceptance of someone. Yeah, sometimes people just give them straight up. But a lot of people that I know like to bet them instead, or like it's called a challenge coin often because they would use it to challenge someone to something, and then that person does it, they get the coin. You know, or vice versa. Sometimes they just use it as a challenge flag and they don't even put up the coin as a bet. They just slam it down and say like this thing, and that's that. And then there are a lot of different methods of using them in what that means and whether or not like you have to pay for anything or not. Or just say Sakura. Oh yeah. If you have one from someone of a higher rank than the other person, they pay. Yeah. Exactly. So it could be your own, so that you like always have to pay basically, or rather you don't have to pay, or it could be one that you have from someone else, and then you throw that down, and you can just be like, oh, I know this guy, and everyone's like, fuck, because you have like the cool coin on the table that no one else has anything close to, you know. This is good. You got a challenge coin from a veteran when you complimented his car and then ended up talking to him about life for 30 minutes outside a gas station. Yeah, I have quite a lot. I have a whole collection of them. And yeah, I've got a bunch. I've got a bunch. Just military Pokemon cards. Yeah, it's not just military though. There are a lot of other things. They tend to be kind of like military adjacent or service people adjacent, but not always. But I have a whole bunch of them. That's why I kind of wanted to make one. I thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be cool. Yeah, some pilots have them. Some police do it. EMS. There's some, not a lot. There's some hospitals that do it too, but usually there's like I don't know how to say it. Oh, I don't want to say like less ego in hospitals, because there's a ton of ego in hospitals. There's less of that type of culture of like going out and like drinking and status and stuff out there. It's more so in the hospital, if that makes sense. So there's like less chance to use the coin because you're actually at work. You know. But yeah, less flair. Yeah, for sure. You have one from a 3-star general you got for being his driver when he visited the base. Ooh, yeah. You have one for working in the security industry. There's a lot. But yeah, I have a whole bunch. One of the ones that I got was from a veteran, and he was a Korean War and Vietnam War vet, and he had this coin that was like super old that he gave me. So I have one that's like crazy old, like Korean War time. I have that. And I'm never giving that one away. I'm keeping that one forever, dude. That's the one that like I would actually use if I was like, he was also like of higher rank. So if I was sitting there at the table and we're figuring out who's paying, that's the one I'm slapping down on the table. But it's a cool one. It's like an antique. I don't really want to take it out with me too much. But he had like this little, you know, the little plastic vinyl looking thingy, little sleeve that you can put the coin in like that to protect it. So I feel less bad carrying around on that, but I don't know. It makes me nervous, so I don't usually carry it. Just makes me nervous in general. But yeah. But I like challenge coin culture. I like that kind of stuff. So I don't really see many VTubers doing that sort of thing, I guess. I feel like a lot of them wouldn't be into that stuff. I don't know. Maybe they'd be into it aesthetically, but like, do they actually have a challenge coin collection? I don't know. I should ask. I should start. Do any of you have any challenge coins? What do you got? If you lose the sleeve, you could put it in a Game Boy case. Oh, the old Game Boy game cases for like individual cartridges. Yeah, stuff like that. No, they make little cases that you can buy, hard plastic ones that you can just throw them into. And that's it. Guy must have had some serious stories. The veteran. Oh, dude. I was in a biplane with him. Okay, We're not gonna get into detail. I was in a biplane with him briefly, and he started reminiscing. I've told parts of this story before. Yeah, it's the same guy. Um, he started reminiscing about how they used to like drop shit, and I was like, oh, and not like he was happy or proud of it. He was just pure reminiscing, not in like a fun, yay, I loved doing that kind of way, but he was just talking about it, and I was like, I'm just gonna let him talk. I feel like he's like full flashbacking right now, and I just, and I'm just gonna like let him exist. Yeah, it's a thing we did, right, just talking about it. And he felt really comfortable talking about it, like up in the air, so I was like, okay, all right, let's go, and I was just listening to him. It was cool. But we had these shitty headsets, and I could hear them, but man, the the air, the sound of the wind, it's so hard to hear. Oh man. Yeah, flight therapy, exactly. No trauma dumping in the cockpit. Biplanes are terrifying. I mean, I don't think they're much more terrifying than being in like a tiny two-seater Cessna. Like, obviously you're a little more open air, but when you're in a Cessna, you also kind of feel like you're basically open air. You've got the little tube flowing outside air in your face anyway, so you can like, you feel like you're outside, so I don't know. You're not really in like a pressurized cockpit. You're just in a thing where you could open the door and pop out whenever, so I feel like it's kind of the same. Cessnas are worse. They randomly lose a bunch of altitude. Yeah, but also the cool thing about most Cessnas is if you point it straight down and you just start going, right? You just point this plane straight down and you just let go of the controls. Assuming you have enough altitude to do this, it will just level off. It will just, if you're not touching the controls, naturally just turn and level off. And suddenly you're just going forward and you're slowing down a bit. So like if your engine cuts, getting it to go, assuming you're not already careening and spinning, getting it to just tilt upwards is usually not a problem. It's slowing it down, having a nice landing that could still be a problem, but you can have like an okay water crash landing or whatever the fuck. So it's kind of cool. It's just because they're physically built a certain way, I'd rather fly a Cessna than a helicopter. Well, yeah, that depends. Yeah, but yeah, Cessna, I would feel a lot more safe in, for sure. Even if the engine cuts and it starts like you tilt down, you're like going fast, pointed at the ground, you can just like get it to level out, assuming you have enough altitude. So I don't know. It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You should all go in one at some point if you can. I know that sounds like terrible advice because people will be like, oh, the small ones crash all the time. But that's because you have a lot of novice pilots in them. Just saying. I think you should all try it. So you can climb up forward to restart the prop without crashing, surely. That's only in like what is it, like a 150 and prior, 152 and prior? No, even earlier than that. That's like in old ass ones to spin the prop to start it. Most people are gonna be flying in like a 172 or some shit. All right, and you're not gonna have to worry about that. You're not gonna have to climb out and spin the prop. I don't remember what model they started making them. Like you have to physically get the prop, but it's not been like that for a while. Not for a long time. Said your aerodynamics professor told you that helicopters propel off the ground by their sheer ugliness. Helicopters, yeah, I'm not a fan. If I can avoid it. I'm good. Ooh, get a small plane flight out to an airstrip in the middle of the wilderness where they need to radio down to have someone scare the buffalo off the airstrip. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? If you've ever gone on like these really weird hunting trips out to the middle of nowhere, or like wilderness and outdoorsy stuff, Sometimes you do, especially if you've been out to like Alaska, places like that. You end up being in these like weird ass places, and it's not too expensive often, depending on where you're going. And yeah, you just end up in a lot of weird devices, weird places, weird everything. Yeah, bush pilots, exactly, exactly. I mean, usually they have like these airstrips that they know how to get to easily, that are at least like packed ground that you can land on just fine, take off from just fine, if not a paved one. But if they're in a heli, sometimes they will be like, "Oh, I'll just land it on this rock. I'll just perch. It's fine." And it's like not fine. It's terrifying. At least when they're in a plane, they're like looking for the nearest airstrip to get to. Whereas the heli pilots are like, we'll just water land. I'll just drop you in the water, hop out. Shit's crazy. Not a fan. Your grandfather used to go on wicked remote fishing trips at a cabin that was only accessible by water plane. Yeah, 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 yeah. There's some really weird remote areas that yeah, and like people that live nearby will run these services where they'll take you out to different spots. For me, less than air, it was more like boats. Going to different places by boat. The number of times I had been down south and I had to go somewhere by fan boat. I had to get on some dude's like bayou fan boat to get to a spot, a specific spot I was supposed to go to. And I'm out there with like a GPS tracker that's just kind of sort of telling me what my coordinates are and shit. It's like I don't miss it that much. I do and I don't, you know. I'm good. I'm good. Ever getting those hovercrafts? Oh, what kind? What kind? Depends on what you mean. I've gotten in some jank shit, but you make it sound like a cool thing. The stuff I got in was usually like some dude made it with a tin can and a piece of wood, you know. Where the fuck were you going to? The bayou, dude. The bayou, all right? I don't even know. I don't even remember half the time. I know what like airport I went to, or usually didn't even fly. Usually just drove 5 billion hours to get somewhere. Because air used to be more expensive than driving. Nowadays it's like the same shit, which is awful. Fuck tolls, but you know it used to be. And then I would end up somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and then I'd get on a sketchy boat, and I'd get on another sketchy boat, and then I'd get on another sketchy boat, and then I'd be in like this most beautiful outdoor paradise for a while. You know, the end point was always really good. Getting there was just weird. Very weird. But it was cool. Can't land in the swamp now. You can't fly in because of the very, very tall tree cover. You can't use a standard boat because a lot of the time, the propeller, there's a lot of shit that gets stuck in it. So you kind of just need to have the fan boat. Otherwise, you can't move. You literally can't move. Maybe you could paddle, but even then, that's sketchy. So, you know, it can be rough. It can be rough. Yeah, Frost. Exactly. Said up on the west coast of Canada, there's a fishing charter place, flies you in via waterplane, and you live on an old BC ferry converted into a floating hotel. Oh, yeah. I love shit like that. That's the kind of stuff that, like, to me sounds really fun. But I know I can't convince my friends to do this stuff. They do not want to. I can convince them to go maybe glamping. Maybe. If I show them a place we can go to that has like full facilities and running water and electricity and a normal toilet, you know, maybe they would go to something. But if I'm like, let's go sleep on the ground, bring a hammock so the animals don't touch you at night, you know, like they're not gonna go with me. They're just not gonna go with me if I'm like, we'll sleep in hammocks so the spiders don't crawl up from the ground. They're not gonna do it, man. That's okay. That's okay. I understand, man. I understand. But sometimes I wish just like one of them wanted to do it. Matara did want to do something, not like that. She wanted to do something else that was like very physically demanding and did require being outdoors a lot. And I was like, do you? So I might make her do this thing with me at some point, but we'll see. We'll see. But it's not so much about camping. So we'll see what happens. I might be able to get some of them to go hiking if it's like a day hike and they don't have to sleep over anywhere. That's kind of what I wanted to get some of them to do. Like, but do you think they'd be willing to hike with me where I'm like making them carry a pack of stuff, right? If I'm like, you got the cooler pack, you got meat to carry, and then I'm like, you got the charcoal, you got to carry the charcoal. Here's a bag of it, you know, like. Do you think they'll hike with like gear, or will they get upset and be like, I just wanted to bring an Nalgene and go? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I can drag some people out. Hammock camping last year. Woke up to a patch of coyotes sniffing my face. I had to chase them off. They're bold. Oh yeah, they don't care. Especially, well, a lot of animals, if you're sleeping, they're checking to see if you're sleeping or alive or what. And the only way to do that is to get up close. So, yeah. Would you need it for a single day hike? Well, the point would be I want to hike somewhere nice, and then we sit down and we eat a bunch of food, and then we hike back. That's what I want to do. But do you think they'd get up at 6 a.m.? I don't know. I don't know. VTubers aren't known for being fit. Yeah, but like I'm also like I'm like dying and recovering from like being dying, you know? So but I'm still willing to go out and like walk until my legs are gelatinous. It doesn't have to be the most physically demanding thing ever. And like even if you feel like you're dying, you can make it. You gotta, if you're hiking, you hike and you feel like shit. Your legs start to feel like they don't want to move. You start to feel like you're just dragging concrete shoes around, right? And then at some point, your brain shuts off because you realize you're out in the middle of nowhere and you have nowhere to go if you don't just move. And then you get this second wind and you go crazy on it, okay? And I think a lot of people just haven't experienced that second wind. They also like don't eat and drink what they should while they're going. So I think they just need to experience that. I think people usually stop before that. I think if you've been an athlete doing some sort of sport where you have to be outside like all day, like a really long time period kind of sport, when you're competing, you understand it. You get it. But I don't know, man. They just gotta do it, man. What is it called when you're climbing? Second, third man syndrome? Yeah, I don't remember what that's called, but it's like when you feel separate from your body, like you're aware, you're very aware in your mind of what's going on, and you're just pushing your body to go, and you get a little numbness. You start to like start to feel like you are you, but you're not you. Yeah, there's a whole thing. I don't remember what they call that, but it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, astral projection. Yeah. Used to get that when doing cross country. Second wind could feel so nice. Yeah, I think cross country is a good example of, you know, a sport where like you know that feeling. I think rowing, any sort of long distance rowing is like that too. Absolutely. Association. No, but there's another word for it that I'm trying to think of specifically. Like that's what's happening, but there's a word that they would call it, and I'm not thinking about the runner's high. There's one that they would call it in hiking, and it was like a colloquial, like a slang term. You could call it a fugue state if you want. There are a lot of words for the same thing depending on what you're doing, right? The zone. You're just locked in, dog. You're just locked in. Tunnel vision. That's not at all it. No. So many people don't realize you need to pack the 4 liters of water for yourself, even if you don't drink that much usually. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I always tell people, I'm like, you can bring a bottle of water, but you should consider getting a Camelback, right? and just having like the bladder, right? And that's just filled with water. You should consider that because it's easy to carry. It's a little flatter in the way it sticks to you. Whether you have the full backpack from them or not, just bringing like the bladder instead of like a jug, it's easier to carry. And I always would tell people to bring that, and they'd be like, "What size should I get? The little baby bitch size?" And they'd like show, and I'm like, "No, no, you need like the whole thing." I don't know. It's very worth it. Very, very worth it. Skip this song. There we go. Drinking enough water the day before it as well, at least. Yeah, you're supposed to. You're supposed to. You stay fully hydrated for a while. And then afterwards in recovery too. Like you cannot stop. Some trail mix and other fuel helps a ton. I fucking hate trail mix, man. I fucking hate it. It's okay. Like they're not wrong in what is like good about it. No, I like eating it. When I say I hate it, I mean like people will go hiking and they'll be like, bring trail mix. And it's the thing is, okay, if you bring a lot of other stuff, it's fine. But if you just bring a giant thing of trail mix and you're like, this is going to be good, it's not. And I say I hate it because like I've experienced several times being out on a trail and someone is sitting on the side of the trail like, looking like they're dying, and you're like, oh, you good? And they're like, yeah, I got trail mix. And I'm like, what else you got? And they're like, water, trail mix. And I'm like, okay, well, we are missing some things here, you know? But there are a lot of people that will go hiking and they bring trail mix and they're like, I got the fats from the nuts and I got a little sugar from the like little sugary things in here, so it's gonna keep me going. It's body fuel. And I'm like, brother, you're missing so much. You're missing so much. You gotta bring other stuff too. It's good. Bringing nuts, yes, really, really good. But you need a lot of other stuff, and there's so many times I've like ran past people and they're like dying and they're like, don't worry, I have trail mix. I'm like, you need more, man. You need more. Dried mangoes, your pick me up. Oh yeah, a lot of dried fruits and things help, but yeah, jerky. You need jerky, and you need carbs. You do need carbs. Some people hate it, but hardtack is the greatest thing you can bring because it's really light. So if you can bring hardtack, do it. I think people don't like eating hardtack though, but it's great. It's great for you. It's wonderful. Isn't trail mix just fucking like psyop shit? There's some truth to some of the things in there, like any sort of like if you bring a bunch of cashews or some shit, right? And you're going in there and you're like, I need fats, I need oils from this. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I knew this dude, oh man. This guy was crazy. He would be out on the trail and he'd be like, you don't need to eat cashews or almonds or any type of nut to get your oils. Just bring a tablespoon of olive oil and eat it. And this dude would bring all of his snacks, and one of them, he'd had this little dime bag. Unironically, this dude would have a dime bag with oil in it. And he'd take a little something every now and then. Like a tiny sip of the olive oil in between eating other snacks. And the thing is, he like wasn't wrong, but that's crazy. That's crazy. He's like, why do you need oily foods when you could just have a little packet of oil and then other good foods for you? Sounds so nasty. Okay, hold on. The problem wasn't that he was eating straight oil. Because I'm gonna be so real with you. Olive oil is good, and I throw that shit on everything. And I'm chill with just having a little olive oil, okay? The problem is bringing it in the dime bag instead of like other stuff to the trail. Like that's crazy. You know, that was like, I don't know. The dime bag was hilarious though, because he'd take it out and he'd open the little Ziploc top just like on one side and he like, you know, like just a little bit of it. He'd like do it bit by bit. That shit was so funny. Oh my god. The dime bag. And he was like, I remember looking at it and I was like, why do you have it in a dime bag? And he's like, well, it's like a tablespoon or a bit over, depending on how long the trail is. So it's like properly portioned out. And I was like, do you just have a bunch of dime bags like in your house, just filled with oil? Like, it's just weird. It's weird. I don't know. At least soak it into some bread. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, you need to bring some carbs or something. So, like, I don't know. I don't know. It was a little weird. What if it leaks from the dime bag? That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't fish oil pills do the same? Well, first of all, that's a different type of oil. That's fish oil. That's different than olive oil. He wanted specifically olive oil. But number two, when it's in a pill form, it depends on which ones you get, but sometimes they are slow release on purpose. Sometimes they're not. It just depends on which ones you get. But also this was before like fish oil was trendy and cool to take in pill form. So maybe nowadays he would consider it, but I don't know. Fish oil pills, that wasn't a thing very much many years ago. It really wasn't. I feel like at some point omega-3s started getting marketed, and you know, now everyone's like, oh, I gotta have my fish oil. Not saying they're wrong about it, it just wasn't a thing. So yeah, wasn't a consideration back then. Could have had it in a little squeeze bottle. Yeah, like those tiny little ketchup bottles or something. I don't know. Omega-3 got huge all of a sudden. I think it got huge with the same push as avocados getting called a superfood. Or, you know, it was the whole superfood craze. Which is like real and not real. Like, those things are good for you, but people act like those are like the only ways to get those things. Which is usually not the case. I don't know, man. People have lived for a long time without taking fish oil for many years. And I think you can live without taking those so long as you eat the right stuff. I'm pretty sure they found like walnuts have a lot of omega-3s as well, and soybeans. Wouldn't you know, one of the, I think it's the second or third most grown crop in the US, isn't it soybeans? Isn't it just soybeans? I don't know. Now, obviously, it depends on preparation if you're gonna get the omega-3s out of it, but I don't know. Soybeans random. No, I remember it was in a bunch of crops too. I just don't know in what amount. Let me see. What contains omega-3s? Okay, fish and seafood. Like salmon, tuna, mackerel, sardines, trout, oysters. Plant-based. Seeds like chia seeds and flax seeds. Walnuts, canola oil, soybeans, algae oil. Can also get it from vegetables like spinach and kale. Fruits like kiwi and berries, and eggs. Yeah. Now, my guess is that fish probably have like the highest concentration of these things, which is probably why they're like, you should just go for this. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I also think they have different types, right? Let me see. Omega-3 fatty acids, primarily DHA and EPA. ALA, like alpha linolenic acid. Yes, there are different types. I mean, realistically, what this means to me is you should just eat lots of different things, right? You need food variety. And if you're like, yo, taking these fish pills is going to save me, you could probably also just eat a lot of different things and be okay, you know? But then again, if you're like, today, I'm not going to eat anything that has any of this stuff in it, and then you want to take the pill, then you should be fine, you know, too. I just think, I'm always like wary of, now some things in excess are fine, other things in excess are not fine. So I'm always wary of like getting into a habit of taking vitamins and all these pills and things out and just like taking all of them every day, when maybe that day I'm already going to get a good amount of something that's in there, just from like whatever I'm eating that day. You know what I mean? So I'm always like, what things am I getting too much of often enough? And now I'm like making my body work harder to filter the excess out, you know? Now, some things I think are totally fine, whereas others not so much. So that's just, yeah, the B vitamins. Yeah, yeah. Vitamins are mostly fine since you'll pee the excess out. You'll pee it out, but why do you pee it out? Because your kidneys are, well, mostly kidneys, are filtering it out. And depending on the concentrations and how hard you're making your kidneys work, sometimes they're like, hey, calm down on this thing, right? Like if you find too much protein when they take a urine sample, they're like, oh, you got to cut down on eating these things because there's too much protein being filtered out. There shouldn't even be that much present in the first place, right? Etc., etc. So I don't know. I get like a little scared of some vitamins when I look at them, and I'm like, I always look up, is it okay to have this excess of this thing? Is that thing okay? You know, like, and I try to look up each one so I find a vitamin's like a little easier on you. I don't know. I also try to eat a good food variety where I can, so I'm not like dying. Oh no, don't be scared. No, this is like while talking to my doctor too. This isn't just me sitting there reading it and going, oh no, I've decided I need to be wary. This is me having a bajillion blood tests and all this health stuff go on and speaking to my doctor and being like, you know, what do I have to be careful of? And then my doctor specifically being like, make sure you're not having too much of this in you and too much of that in you and blah, 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 right? So, you know, it's just one of those things where I'm under their advice, making sure I'm being a little careful about it. A little careful about it. But yeah. What the hell is this? This person said, GEEGA, please be careful of Discord and Twitter. Currently, hacker go around and send links from your friend's account saying they're working on a game and need game testing. Please don't believe them. A VTuber I was watching got hacked live on stream. This has always been a thing. This has been a thing since the dawn of time. Yeah, no, that's always, we all know about this Discord scam, trust. It's been around for like 8 years. Like 8 years. Yeah, people have done that for forever. Yeah, we always get them in our Discord, and people will open mod tickets and they'll be like, hey, this account friended me from this server and it's one of these. And we go, okay, and we nuke them. So it's the best you can do. You can't really like stop people from trying it, but we can report them when we see them, and yeah, we prune them. We prune them, always. One of your buddies fell for that one recently. Yeah. They tried on content creators. They tried on people in normal servers. They tried on everybody. So I personally like do not accept friend requests from anyone ever unless I know it's already on its way, typically. And if it's someone where I'm like, they didn't warn ahead of time, but I do know this is this person's account for sure. Sometimes I'll accept, but I'll make them do like weird tests to figure out if they're real. Like if they try to send me a link, there's no way I'm opening it. Even if they type exactly how that person types and everything, I just won't do it. I'll be like, okay, call me and screen share it. Oh, you want to show me your game? How about this? I stay muted, you call me, and you screen share your game to me. You know. Yeah, send them a captcha. The thing is, they're usually not just bots. They're usually a person running the thing. So, you know, there's that. I know there's at least one account that named itself after my alt channel. It's like something related to it, and it goes around because we get mod tickets about it all the time. It tries to like friend people from my community and like other VTubers all the time, and tries to like pretend it's me. But like you can literally just go to my Discord and know it's not me. So like it's really easy to verify. I don't think it's gotten anybody. I don't know. Did you get that achievement and peak you were going for this morning? No, I didn't, because people kept dying and I had to go grab them. It's impossible. Impossible. You need to pay attention to the connections section. If it ain't there, it isn't connected to the account. Yeah, there are even ones where they can like spoof that, essentially make it look legit anyway. So But it's still a good thing to check that. Or if their real account did get hijacked, you can fake the connections so you don't off those. Do they still have it like that? I guess so, yeah. Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, you should have to full auth them. I don't know why you don't. I think you just put in links for several of them. I think yes, some you can and some you can't. So they'll probably go to the ones where you don't have to OAuth and just like link the thing and be like, oh, this is me. Or sometimes they'll just put it in the little bio. And they'll be like, oh, it's me from twitch.tv/GEEGA. And then like people will see it and be like, whoa, it's so crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Just know I will never send you a friend request on Discord. Like, I just won't. I can just open a mod ticket and drag you in there if I need to send you something. I do not need to send you an entire friend request and DM you. I can make a mod send you a thing. I don't have to compromise myself in any way to get something to you. I will never send you a friend request on Discord. Yeah, you said I straight up don't believe the people that think creators are going to randomly friend them. Yeah, I kind of don't either. I don't either. Like, the thing is, I already don't have enough time to spend with, like, my good close friends. And I wish I saw all of them more. I'm not going around friending people. like, it'd be different if I had 500 friend slots open or something, which is not how it works, but, like, you know. But, like, dude. Nobody's built to have that many, like, close friends. It's impossible, man. You said some of the people I watch, I don't want to be friends with them. Many. Yeah, yeah. I mean, people are different. Or it's not that people are different. The person isn't different. Interacting with somebody versus watching them is very different and feels different. There are people I love to watch, but then, like, in hanging out with them, I'm like, we don't actually click that well. There are people that are the opposite. I get along with them so well on the back end, but I just don't love to watch them because it's a different experience, right? Like, it's just not the same. So if you see a creator around and you think they're really funny and you love to watch them, and then you see them interact with their friends and you're like, oh, I think I would get along really well with them. You might not. You might be right. You might be completely wrong. You know? It's just different. Can we get an acquaintance request? Nope. Nope. My MySpace top 8 and then my, like, first 100 friends is filled up. And my next however many acquaintances filled up. And if I want to spend time with new people, it means spending less time with someone else. It's zero sum, dog. It's zero sum. It's my time. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. That's just how it is. What's on my face? Is that like Vine? I do not miss MySpace, but I miss the one or two things, like I do not want it to autoplay, but I miss, like, the profile music being there a little bit. I miss people customizing their profiles. Everything's so blank nowadays. Nothing is like your own web page, quote unquote, which is what early social media was. It was supposed to be like your own page that replaced building your own website, because everyone used to have a thing and they were like, this is my own homepage, and then you would go to that person's website and it was just like theirname.com or whatever, right? firstlast.com. That's what everyone used to do back in the day. And then at some point it turned into social media to, like, replace that, right? That was sort of the I guess progression from what I saw. Welcome to my blog. Yep. And now it's all the same, man. It's so boring. I think the only one that lets you highly customize still is Tumblr. But Tumblr is, like, such its own beast, you know, but it actually has like really, really good tools and customizability for like changing how all of that looks and functions, which is neat. And I wish you could do that a bit more with other sites. I understand why you can't. I completely understand why, but you know. The most cursed graphic design is my passion. Spaghetti code MySpace pages. Yeah, but it was cool. It was cool. And it was nice because it helps people understand how these things worked, even if they weren't like becoming programmers through it. I thought it was a good idea to like let people just go crack into it a little bit. I don't know. Tumblr dead without the porn. Tumblr was still huge without it. I'm gonna be honest. It was overrun with it. I think they should have just like locked it away behind a thing where you just tell it if you want to see that kind of content or not when you enter the site, and there you go. I don't know. I'm not a fan of like separating out 18 plus from everything else in a way where it's like locked down entirely. It can't be on this place at all or whatever. I think sometimes it just doesn't make sense. But it depends on who's on there. It depends on who is like the user base, and I think the problem is these sites don't really get to choose their user base. You can set something up and try to get a certain age of people or whatever, but like when a community latches onto your site and starts using it, that great, you have them now. You can't really like choose that. So, you know, I guess sometimes they just have to adapt. I don't know. I don't know. You remember when YouTube let you customize the entire page? I know, it was so nice. It's still censorship. Yeah, I think things should be censored. I'm not like, ooh, everything should be the Wild West, because the problem is the internet isn't the way it used to be. Tons of kids are on the internet now. Everyone has access to the internet now, nearly. There's no longer this barrier to entry. Like, everyone's got a phone and can just open up web pages and can use, like, everything lives on an app. I was cooler with it being the Wild West when there were more checks and like certain people made it through and ended up on the internet and others kind of didn't. And it wasn't just everybody and their grandmother being there. But yeah, it's evolved past that. So now I am more of a fan of, yeah, like not everything should allow everything on it, or things maybe should be locked down behind. Like you have to at least say, yeah, like click something, TOS, whatever, click and be like, yes, I'm 18 or blah, blah, blah. I don't know. So, yeah, everyone's grandma is there. Every impressionable person is on there, especially. They're the most tied to it typically. All the kids are on the internet, everything. So, you know, there should be spaces that aren't kid safe. There are fuck tons. There are fuck tons that aren't kid safe. Fuck tons that are not kid safe, okay? People just get mad when like the one that they use a lot gets censored a bit. And I'm like, yeah, you use it a lot because so does everyone else, and now it has everyone on it, including all the kids. Like, you know? It's okay for things to be segmented out. This thing is here, this thing is not there. You know? And I think it's better if a site says, hey, we're not going to allow this here, because then they don't make you prove your identity and prove you're over 18 and start pushing that boundary that scares a lot of people, right? Then they can just be like, we just don't have it here. Okay, you know? Now you don't have to deal with all those other side conversations. So I'm a little more okay with some sites being like, let's just take this stuff off of here so we don't have to do any of that, you know? So, I don't know. I feel like there's no good solution that I love that's perfect to the problem, but I'd take that over, you know, every site requiring everything to be verified and allowing everything on the platform. Because then you have to, like, prove your identity everywhere, and I'm like, ooh, ooh, you know? Not really a fan. Not really a fan. He said there are kid-safe spaces that become unkid-safe real fast. Everyone tries to find their way around everything. Yeah. Yeah. You said, I just wish someone actually figured out a way to verify ages that's private, not whatever the fuck they're trying. How the fuck is my question. How the fuck? I sympathize with the people trying to figure it out that are struggling to figure that out, because how the fuck? Why should this gating be up to the platforms and not parents, though? That's where my line is drawn. Yeah, I agree. I think it's the parents' fault. Personally, I think it's the user's fault. I do not think a platform should be the one getting in trouble. That's where I am. I agree. I think if a kid sees something they shouldn't, the parent should have gotten themselves to be computer literate to a point where they could have made sure that that kid couldn't do that thing. There are so many like parental controls and things on every device nowadays. And it's like, why are you making the kid take the driving test to get their license when the parent should take the test to drive their kid around? You know what I mean? Like, that's right. Like, the parent should be the one in control there. Same thing with this device. The parent should take like a literacy, computer literacy, internet literacy, I should say, exam or something. Understand parental controls, lock things down, whatever. And just have that be the thing. I don't know. Parents getting upset when they have to parent. That's the thing, is like, I understand people don't have a lot of time to sit with their kid nowadays. A lot of people that like, people make fun of iPad kids, right? But a parent often throws an iPad in front of their kid because they're so tired. Either they are not sitting there with them because the mom only has 2 hours to clean the entire house and get their food ready, whatever, so they cannot sit with their child. So yes, they give them the iPad, right? Or maybe they do have that time, but they're dead tired because they just finished working like a job and a half. So they're just laying on the floor next to the kid, like unable to do anything, you know? I think there are a lot of people that do it too much. Shame on them. But yeah, people are going to hand devices to their kids a lot more. So since that's the reality, they should be forced, I think, in some way to be able to understand how parental controls work and set things up a certain way before they hand it to their kid, so that they can feel not perfectly but more safe just handing them a device and just letting them go while they're like sitting there making their food for the next day and stuff, you know? I don't know. It's not always their fault that the situation exists, that it's hard for them to like take a device away, but it's not hard for them to learn how to just make that device safer for them. You know, that's how I feel. But I don't know, it just has to be a cultural shift. I feel like influencer parents have to be like, parents, you got to do this for your kid. And then schools need to be like, parents, you have to do this for your kid, and blah, blah, blah. Like, it has to be a cultural shift if it's going to happen. There's no other way, in my opinion. It's just not going to happen, you know? I set a parental control on my computer to see how I could get around it. If you know what you're doing, it's a very safe machine. Yeah, for sure. So back in my day, parents watched what you were browsing. That is true. I think people don't have as much time now. You said N classes in school taught you how to safely navigate and how to be safe online, etc. Yeah, I don't think schools have the resources to focus on that as much as they used to. But also, I think a lot of the people that teach those things don't actually know, with the way things have changed, how to do that. They taught you that back then because there were so many fewer websites and so many fewer things to be wary of. Nowadays, there's so much more. And if you're trying to teach a kid that, you'd have to spend like a year or two of school time, like, you know, or one class that they take for an entire year or longer, and you'd have to reinforce it constantly. It's a lot of time spent. It's just hard. It's hard. But yeah, we're also in the era of kids like, just, dude, high schoolers using ChatGPT to like write things now, and they have to like sit there and make them do, they're trying to push people doing handwritten tests again, so kids cannot sit there and like submit anything. You know, they have to sit there and write it in person by hand with no devices around, so that kids can't submit something that was written for them. So, you know, you're gonna get those kids to sit through a how to use the internet properly class. They're gonna be like, oh, I already know, I already have an iPad. It's rough, dude. It's rough. If literal tech execs don't give their kids access to social media and stuff, why should you? it's easy, and because kids, I think something people don't understand too is kids pressure their parents a lot, and it gets exhausting, and parents give in. Because if they're not on social media, the other kids will like make fun of them and be like, oh, you're not on this thing. Or maybe that kid doesn't get made fun of, but they're like, I don't get invited to anything because I'm not part of this thing and I can't be in their group chats. Therefore, I'm not getting invited to anything. And then it like, the parent then is like, oh my God, I'm keeping this kid out of all the cool social shit that they should be doing. So, you know, and things go from there. A lot of the time, which is well, not how it should be, but that's just how it is. And then I remember like the classic 90s riding a bicycle up onto someone's front lawn and like sliding and like dropping it on the lawn and running into their door that was unlocked and being like, hi Mrs. Whatever, and then going into the room going, want to go somewhere today? And then the other kid you're saying hi to is like, where are we going? You go, I don't know. And they go, okay. And then you would like go skip into the sunset and go do some shit. You go outside and like pour water on ants or something at 14. You know, it's a very different time. It's a very different time. Doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't my town. I think it still happens. It's just not as much. You want to go play in the woods? Dude, there's this one lady, Erin Miller. She makes a lot of nostalgia shorts. And one of the ones that she always does is like millennials in college. And she'll have like her makeup smeared all over her face, and she'll be like texting on her phone, doing like the standard, you know, hits one twice to write a B. She's sitting there texting, and she's like, guys, I want to go to this party. And they're like, put a jacket on. She's like, no, I'll just walk in heels in the snow. Where is it? I don't know, in the forest. Okay. Like, she just does these shorts. I'm like, wow, this shit's so real. I'm gonna wear jeans and a going out top. Oh God. Oh God. Water hose water, explore the woods, ride your bike for miles. Yup. It's so different, man. You know what I did a while back? I called up a friend and I was like, I'm gonna bring it back. I'm just gonna be like, do you want to just meet up? I'm no longer making plans with people of specific things to do. I'm calling up friends and I'm being like, we're going somewhere. Meet me at this place at this time. And then we show up with no plan. And I've been doing it more. It's been nice. It's been nice. So we went to like a park and walked around. And then I was like, oh, we could go do this thing and that thing at this park. Oh, we could do that. Oh, we could talk to this person. And just having like a day outside. That's it. That's it. You pick what you want to eat on the spot. Though that is a lot easier to do in the city, but I've been trying to not like plan so far ahead and instead just be like, you know what, I'm just doing it today because the weather's nice. You know? Because I always used to do that, and then at some point I stopped, so I'm like trying to bring it back. And I know humans, I know people still do this stuff sometimes, but sometimes people get caught up in shit. You know? They just get really caught up in shit and they stop doing it. I found a huge hornet nest. Let's go chuck rocks at it. Okay, yeah, maybe not that. Maybe not that. What is there to do in the city other than shopping or some shit? Oh, you have no idea. Every 3 blocks there's some shit going on. And there's always something. There's a lot of free stuff to do. Every park there's something interesting to see, and there are 5 billion parks when you're walking around. Shopping is a big one if you just like looking at stuff. But yeah, museums, art installations. Depending on where you're walking around, there's a lot of free stuff that students are doing. Constantly, like college kids and high school kids doing displays of some sort. So maybe it's fashion students from FIT, and a bunch of them, they're like, oh, we have like a show going on right now. You just walk in and be like, okay, and just watch the show. You know, sometimes there's like a STEM group of some sort. There's a science fair related thing, and they're like kids from like Stuyvesant or something, you know, like doing their really important, cool displays, and you can go see that shit. Yeah, there are a lot of museums. Libraries are good. There's a lot. I would say it's more so you end up doing just like random encounter kind of shit. You walk around and you just see someone doing something and you ask them about it and now you're like caught up in a side quest. I don't know. There's just a lot. Yeah, you can't just go on a walk. Well, I've met a lot of my friends that are older from this. One thing I used to do all the time is I would walk around and see a dog park. A lot of parks have separate dog parks attached to them. And I would just stand there and look at some dogs. And I noticed that sometimes, like, the elderly people do this. so a lot of the time, I would end up standing there and there'd be some elderly woman just being like, oh, like looking at the dogs. And I'd be like, do you have a dog? And she'd be like, I used to have a dog when I was younger and I blah, blah, blah. And then I just end up having a conversation with somebody and boom, there's like 45 minutes spent, you know? There you go. There you go. I don't know. It's not about doing something like ultra exciting. It's just about existing. Or honestly, like if you live near Central Park or, well, any of the parks that like have big rocks, a lot of the time people will go to a park, sit on one of the rocks and lay down. Genuinely, they'll just go and they'll be like, I'm going to one of the big boulders in Central Park, and they'll lay on it and they'll be like, wow, so warm. And that's it. And genuinely, I could do that for an hour. I could do that for an hour and just chill. So I think that's the problem, is a lot of people will think about like going outside and they'll be like, what do I need to do? And they're so focused on I need to do something, or what is there to do in this place? Don't think about doing anything. Just walk around. Just walk around. Stop thinking. I think that's the problem, right? You're thinking. Stop thinking. If you're somewhere where you have to drive everywhere, it's not so walkable. Drive to the most walkable place and then just walk around it. There you go. That's it. Yeah, a farmer's market, if you have a little downtown area and it's like one strip, you're in a smaller town, there's just one strip of businesses. Okay, go over there, park, and walk up and down the street. Done. Just do that shit. As best you can. Fishing in a park? Yeah, fishing. Well, permits required oftentimes, but yeah. When you have to hang out at the Walmart. No, but honestly, go to stores you don't normally shop at and walk around them. Don't even plan to buy anything. Just go in and like walk around and look at everything. It's just something. It's something, it's unique. You are walking, which is good for you. You're looking at stuff that you don't normally look at, which I also think is good for you. There you go. There you go. Honestly, this is when people should get into reading books. People will always be like, I have to go out and do a thing. Brother, sit outside with a book and just read it. Like, you know, you don't have to go do anything crazy. If you are a privileged person who has a yard, if you're privileged and you have a yard, then you set up a spot in your yard where you can do that shit. Dude, get into gardening, please. Get into gardening. Food's expensive now. Tomatoes are $5,000 a bag, okay? Well, now, hey, grow tomatoes, asshole. Complaining about, I don't know what to go outside and do. Grow some damn tomatoes. You know? It's time. It's time. Wait, what? Yeah, they're $5 billion a bag now. Well, a pound. Just grow some shit, man. I just showed you a video from Grow Veg the other day. Okay, I was like, guys, this is my favorite YouTube channel. Grow Veg. He's the best. There you go. I would sooner have a brown thumb than a green one. Oh, yeah. Gardening's a drag. Okay, then go do something else. I don't fucking know. I don't know you like that, but go do something. You're one of those people where when I make a suggestion, you're like, here's why I don't like your suggestion. I know you don't know me, but you need to make a suggestion that I like, or I'm going to mention every time that I don't like doing that thing. I don't know, then pick something. Or you suggest something you like. I don't know. I think gardening's cool. I don't get to do it. I have to go to a community garden if I want to go do it. So I'm jealous of people that can do a lot of gardening, okay? I'm jealous. I want to have a big old garden, and I can't. So if you can, that's good. What would you grow if you could grow anything? Tomatoes, zucchinis, cabbage, spinach, garlic, onions, potatoes. Peaches! I think a fruit tree would be cool. I think a fruit tree would be cool. I'd be less focused on that. I'd be more focused on the things that I'm more likely to like make something out of and preserve for longer, I think. But you don't want a garden because of time? No, it's because I'd have to go sow my seeds in the concrete. And I don't think they would grow if I did that. It's also not my concrete outside. So I don't really have the ability. I could maybe do like an indoor one with grow lamps and then get like the purple lights and look like I run a weed op in here or something. It's possible, but then I have to do it in a spot that the cats can't get to because they're gonna get to everything and chew it, and then a lot of the stuff that I want to grow is stuff that they can't chew or they'll like die. So I'm a little, you know, window boxes possible? No, they're not here. Not possible here. Yeah, you said I feel like it'd be easy to close off indoor growing for the pets. Not really. Not with the way I have things laid out. It wouldn't be. I could convert an entire like closet into that, but then I would have issues with it gets really cold in there. It gets really cold in there. It would not do well. That's the other problem is I keep it pretty cool in here. That's my one thing about my space that's most important is I don't keep it warm. And if you want your plants to grow well and you have an indoor area of grow lamps on them, whatever, you want to keep that area also a little bit warm. And I feel like no matter what I do, all the spots I can think of putting stuff like that, they'd have like cold air blowing on them all the time. So yeah, I'd have to put like 1,000 lamps on them, and then I'd be actively like trying to heat my plants with grow lamps and then also tried to cool down this entire place for myself. So I just feel like I'd be so inefficient. I don't know. I'll just go to a community garden occasionally if I really want to do anything like that. It's one of those things that it's just too difficult of a thing for me to get into. You know? You made an IKEA greenhouse out of an Arduino and an LED light strip. Works okay for your succulents, and the shelf is locked from your kids. Yeah, if it was like... I know some people have done like viney climbing vine kind of plants, like beans, green beans do that, where you typically grow them on a trellis and then they're hanging down from it, right? And I know some people will do that on a shelf against a wall, but I'm not a fan of growing a plant like that, like right up on my wall, because I feel like, I don't know, I'm a little wary. I'm a little wary of like plant against wall like that. Now maybe if you have a trellis to encourage it into and it just like goes on the trellis and there's air between the plant and the wall, then it should be fine. But yeah, exactly right. They hold moisture, the soil does especially. The plant is just like touching. I feel like it could be an issue, so you'd have to like really manage it. I wouldn't want it to grow on the wall, and then even if I put like a mesh against it and I'm like, oh, it's growing on the mesh, it'll be touching the wall, you know. So I feel like doing it on a shelf would be difficult if it's something that's like not a succulent, you know. Anything viney. And then if you want something that you can grow that's not so viney, you probably want it to have some space from the wall anyway, so it has space to grow outward properly. I don't know. When I think about all the spots that I have to grow things in here that wouldn't be cat accessible, I just kind of don't have that. I don't have that very much. So, welp. Plants find a way into walls. Plants find ways into everything. Everything. Don't you have any windows? Yes and no. I have windows, but not a fuck ton. And the ones that I do have, I cannot... They don't have window sills. It wouldn't be very doable. It wouldn't be doable, and then I can't really like hang anything out the window either, so yeah. Plant cage. You can. So I know when you grow things outside, a lot of people to keep pests out will do like netting and all this stuff. They'll actually put like chicken wire sometimes. So there are ways you can do that, but yeah, it's a little tough to keep cats out of that stuff sometimes. Sometimes. You have a big fern growing out of your backyard's wall. It showed up one day. Did it really? Interesting. Grow cold resistant veggies. I should just have a planter box in a room that I keep closed all the time, and I grow potatoes. Like I'm part of the Mars mission, man. I should just I should just do it. You have fuck ass windows. Yeah, basically I have fuck ass windows. I'm not gonna be able to do that. Trust. I've thought about this a lot because I like plants. I've thought about it so much. Many edible plants need more light than you'd think. Oh yeah, I would have to do a full grow lamp thing. You know what I could get, which people use these for growing weed, but they're also viable for growing normal plants. They make these little tall rectangular cloth-sided things that you can grow inside of. They just make these and just put a pot at the bottom. It's got reflective interior, sometimes like a mylar blanket looking kind of material, and then there's like a mesh on the front so you can see in. Yeah, like the most scheduled one. Yeah. I'll show you. Hold on. What do they call it? Is it a grow tent? Yeah, it's a grow tent. It's a grow tent. I think that would be the closest thing I could do. Little hydroponic grow tent, maybe. I wouldn't need it to be hydroponic. I would just need it to be like closed. That's all. I wouldn't want the full system to take care of itself perfectly and me never to have to touch it. Here we go. Yeah, it's got a mylar interior. Look, I love how they put plants in here and they're like, it's not weed plants, it's a fern. But you can use them. You can use them for vegetables. I've seen this sort of thing. I think this is the only thing I really could do in here, realistically. You see that? So it's got this panel in the front. You can hook up lights on the inside for like grow lights and everything. Really easy to just get in and out of and water and check them and prune stuff and whatever. Yeah, the mesh lets it be visible. It lets you see what's going on in there. But still keep it closed off so like my cats are not breaking in and that kind of stuff. But yeah, if I wanted to do vegetables, I'd probably have to do that so my cats don't like eat some onion leaves and die or some shit. You know? Your cousin has one of those in his basement. Works great. They look good. They look nice.
That looks like a cat stream playground.
Yeah. They would 100% try to get in. Cats can't eat onions? No, it's toxic to them. Here, you want the list? Plants cats can't eat. It's anything in the onion family. And then lilies, palm, amaryllis, daffodils, tulips, azaleas. A lot of the stuff that people gift people around Mother's Day or like in the spring, they can't have that. It'll be toxic to them. Lilies are really bad because even the pollen that they spread out is bad for them. So even if they don't eat the lily directly, if they just like rub on it and then lick themselves, that can get them. Yeah, any alliums. Hyacinths, English ivy, jade plant, lily of the valley, yew, devil's ivy, birds of paradise. Yeah, there's a lot. Aloe, they can't have aloe either. A lot of these are like really common plants to gift people. You know? So. Can a dog eat onion garlic? I've seen some vets say yes and some say no. So the thing is, like, a lot of this stuff is toxic to them, but it depends on the amount. So if they eat a little bit of onion, they're probably not going to die from it, a lot of dogs, depending on the size. Obviously, it depends on weight, right? Like the concentration. If you have a tiny dog and they eat a chunk of onion, it might affect them really poorly, but then that same chunk of onion in like a big, like 80-pound dog, it's not going to have the same effect on it. It has a different blood volume, everything, right? So it's going to be less concentrated. You just don't do it because you just don't know. You might just have a pet that is like really sensitive to that thing and you have a really bad time with it. But at least you know, like, they're less likely to have a problem the bigger they are. You know, they say dogs can't eat chocolate. Chocolate's very toxic to them, really bad, right? I had my old dog. She was huge. Okay, she was a big dog. She was like 80 pounds, which is crazy even for like a female that's huge. She was fucking enormous, and she got up on a table that had a bunch of like Christmas candy or Halloween candy or something, and she ate like 2 bags of chocolate. It was several pounds of it. She had no effects. Nothing happened. She didn't seem to have any discomfort, nothing. She was just pooping foil for a while. We were very like, oh no. Very worried. We were monitoring her and everything, and nothing happened. Yeah, she tanked it. I assume it's because she was so huge. You know? Like she was so big that I think she just, like, it wasn't enough concentration for her to be affected. Maybe she in particular was just not likely to be affected, whereas another type of dog maybe would be. I don't know. Hershey's is real chocolate. It wasn't Hershey's. There was like also a bunch of like real chocolate in there. That was why I was extra like, oh no. But no, she tanked it. And there you go. But you don't know. You don't know for sure. So they say if they're like you shouldn't, then just don't risk it. Because I know people have had their cat pass away because there was a lily in the room. They didn't even touch it. Whereas there are others where someone had a lily in the room and then someone else was like, oh no, you have a cat. And they're like, okay. And they took it out and nothing happened. You know, like some people are just more affected by certain things. Same thing with pets. So yeah, just assume you're going to have a bad time with it because you just don't know. Like, and you don't want to like try. So you'd be like, oh, what happens? Because if the what happens could end in like pet death, then obviously no. You know, don't deal with that for sure. Don't risk it. But yeah, it can be bad, man. That's why you gotta be so careful with all of your plants and all that, especially with cats. I always get nervous, like spring, Mother's Day, all of that. A lot of people get these flowers and things for, like, you know, their mom or whatever. At least my family, especially, we do that. We get potted plants. And so I got my mom a bunch of hyacinths. She loves hyacinths. And I got that for several other family members that I was going to see. And I put them in a room and closed it entirely because hyacinths are bad for cats, you know? And if they can smell it, a little bit of the pollen, not the worst. It's more so if they eat it that it's really bad for them. But I kept it locked away. Hyacinths are one of the smelliest flowers. Like, the smell is so strong. I opened the door and went into that room, leaving them just overnight. And then I, like, brought them the next day. They smelled so strong. That room was, like, permeated. I had to open the window and keep the door closed for, like, 2 days so that the stink would be gone. Because it wasn't, like, a nice floral scent. It was, like, this heavy, oppressively floral cloud of air. It was bad. Such a pretty flower. Oh, they're beautiful. Well, if you plant them outside, you're not gonna, like, be covered in hyacinth smell. It's not so bad. But when they're, like, in a room, you realize how much shit they're spewing out, you know? It's crazy. I wiped the room down. It was like, you know, everything, every surface I wiped down to be sure, but God, it smelled so strong. So strong. People also breed plants to be extra perfumed. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't really like floral smells that much. When they have, like, perfumes that smell like flowers, I'm like, ugh. Not really a fan. Not a fan. So, no thanks. But hey, a lot of people in my family like hyacinths, so whatever. I'll get it for them. Whatever. Your mom would get cacti and your dumbass cat kept trying to eat it and you had to pull spines out of his face? No. No. That's so sad. Yeah, well, they just... They have this primal instinct to go and chew plants and eat grass and stuff like that because it's just fiber that helps them pass stuff. You know, it helps them with hairballs and stuff too, actually. The roughage just helps like move it through their digestive system. So they love that stuff. They love it, and they have this instinct to do it. So it's so hard to keep them from the plants. That's why it's better to just like not even have them. Or if you do have them, have ones that are okay with cats, or just put them somewhere where they can't get them. Like in those hanging planters. If you can hang them from the wall or hang them from the ceiling, it's just you're better off. You're just better off. Thought that cats were professional stove touchers. I mean that too, but no, they'll have this instinct to want to try and eat plants. Oh, your cat eats the dirt and roots too. What you can do, this is what I did for one of mine. I left the cat grass up on a shelf where he couldn't get it, and then I would snip bits of the grass off and give it to him, and let him eat it like that, instead of like giving him the whole thing. So I would let it keep growing near this window on this shelf. And it was just high enough that he couldn't get it. He would still try, and he would like smack the wall and like fall a lot. He would really try, but I would cut bits of it off and give it to him. Kitty smoothie shop. Yeah. Like you can actually take the grass and just snip it over their food and just add it if you want. But I think it's better to give it to them separately as its own snack, so it gets to move as like one chunk through their digestive system. I know that sounds kind of gross, but it's better for them, so I would do that. Yours would nibble on the fake Christmas tree. Oh my. So my cat Nucky, my first cat, right? I have the two. The Nucky's a little bit older than Wolfie is. When I first got him, I had his biological brother, right? At the time, I was living with one of my brothers, and the biological brother of Nucky was my brother's cat. We just got both of them, but eventually, like, one bonded to me, one bonded to my brother. So then when he moved far away, I was like, take him. This is your cat. He loves you, go. But that cat, Nucky's brother, would always go into the Christmas tree and climb up. Like, he'd stand under it and climb up the middle and get really high up and, like, poke his head out and then start crying because he didn't know how to get down. And he would do this all the time. And we kept trying to, like, ban him from the Christmas tree. We were, like, tying mesh around the bottom so he couldn't get in it so easily. But he would just, like, tear through and get up there. And we had so many pictures of him, like, looking sad in the Christmas tree because he would just be up top and he'd be like, I can't get out. Did you hear me talking about your brother, Nucky? Here he is. Yeah, he would always, he would get stuck. He would get stuck and he would freak out. And then we'd save him. We'd get him out of the tree, and then he'd just be like, ooh, I'm gonna go back in. I'm gonna go right back in. Did the brother have to ban Christmas trees in his home? He still has a Christmas tree. I made him send me pictures. The first year he moved, especially, I made him send me pictures of everything because I was like, how is he doing? Because I missed that cat. That was my cat too for a long time, But he has like one of those really small Christmas trees. So if he tries to climb into it, like, it's basically his height. He can just get out. Hi, Nucky. Nucky, you want to say hi to the people? Yeah. Much to say. I kind of want to get a big Christmas tree this year. Like a real one. I have a kind of sad Christmas tree. It's like 4 feet tall, 4.5 feet tall. And it was good for when I lived in a much smaller space. And now I don't have a huge space now, but it's bigger. And I have a spot where I can place a designated Christmas tree. So I want to get a bigger one. I want to do it. I love real Christmas trees. I like real ones, but I hate cleaning up the pine needles, all the time. There are ways you can make it better, but it's a lot, so. The sap everywhere, too, the sap. So I think I'm going to do... yeah, I'll probably do a fake one. Just a nice fake one. I think I will. Will we keep it up till Easter? Little Christmas. Minimum Little Christmas. Sometimes I keep it up through, like, February. Because I don't like when everyone starts decorating in pink and red for February. They put, like, hearts everywhere. I don't know. I just don't like it. I think it looks really, real tacky, real gaudy. So I tend to leave the tree up, but then I take out, like the actual Christmassy ornaments, all the red and green stuff, And instead I leave up things that look vaguely wintry, like pine looking shit. Stuff that looks like winter but isn't like Christmas coated. I leave that out. You know. I don't have a ton of seasonal decorations. I have some. But not a fuck ton, so. You know. It's not really hard for me to like just leave it up because it's not a lot. Not really a thing in Australia. Real trees, seen a few, but not many. I think it depends on where you live. In the U.S., we have a lot of land with a lot of tree farms. So it's really easy to get like a real tree. And they're not. They could be a little expensive sometimes, but they're usually not so bad. Your old cats loved drinking from the Christmas tree water. Yeah, when they stick their head in the bottom. We had to like always tie a thing around the bottom so the cats couldn't get their heads in. Always. They turn into massive fire hazards. Oh yeah, especially because the sap from a pine tree can be really, really flammable, actually. Really flammable. So, it's bad. It's like fuel for the fire. Like, perfect fuel. Make garlands with real pines to make up for the plastic tree. Pine smells so nice. That's a good idea, actually, yeah. Yeah, I do know some friends that will do, like, they'll get a real pine, but it'll be a little mini tree, and they'll just put it up on a shelf somewhere, and that way the scent comes out of it. But honestly, if you get a really nice candle, like one that is done well, not a cheap one, you can get the same thing out of it. Eastern side of the U.S. has a ton of trees. I mean the western side too, especially like Pacific Northwest, parts of the Midwest. Honestly, the U.S. is like really forest covered. Like most of it. We have chunks that are desert, we have chunks that are mountains, and a lot of those mountainous chunks have a lot of trees. I think the eastern U.S. is more lush, but it's still like forest everywhere. Everywhere that people aren't actively living, where there isn't a house and a yard, a lot of it is just tree covered. That's why we have so many goddamn white-tailed deer everywhere. Because there's so much for them to eat. So much. But yeah, because of that, it's very easy to have tree farms and for everyone to get, you know, all these real Christmas trees that they want every year. Pacific Northwest is trees as far as the eye can see. Yeah. All the farmland used to be forest. For sure. For sure. So was Europe once. Yeah, but the thing is, like, you know, Europe has a lot of people, and it's more dense, right? There are people living, like, everywhere. Yes, there are rural spots, but there's not really much space for people to sprawl out into. Whereas the U.S., I think we need to avoid it, but still, there's still a lot of space for people to sprawl into to this day. So, you know, Europe is really old. I was gonna make a dad joke about how the Earth is the same age, but yeah. Yes, the society is older. That's right. That's right. You're correct. You're correct. I'm trying to avoid it. Oh, I'm trying not to be that guy. Your gardening ventures have been rough. The damn deer. I know they eat everything. Chicken wire, man. You gotta lock that shit down. Spikes. You put spikes everywhere. Spikes on everything. You just have to. You're always astonished when you see how sparsely populated the U.S. is on average. Oh, yeah. I mean, the population is so concentrated into cities and suburban sprawl around cities. And then there's just so much space. So there's so much area of just these random-ass rural towns. Someone who lives in a house that's 30 minutes away from everything. There's a lot of space like that. And there are a lot of areas that are completely just not even inhabited. Bow hunting deer is legal in some municipalities. It's legal in most places. It's legal in most places with license, just for certain seasons. Yep. Rabbits were killing your plants years ago. I saw a lady a lady making some videos, and she was like, guys, if you want to grow and raise your own meat, I'm telling you, you're gonna get the best meat yield out of rabbits. And she was talking about how she like eats a lot of rabbit, and that's what they do, is they have like a ranch, and that's her main thing. I was reading the comments of people crashing out because they're like, I could never, because they're so cute. They were like, oh, they're freaking out. I was like, oh. Oh, man. Yeah, rabbit starvation. Yeah, she was like, you just gotta eat rabbits. And I'm like, they're really lean. You have to eat a lot of other stuff, too. But she was right that you get a lot of protein out of them. You do. Did she say how she would catch them? She was raising them. She had her own area where she was essentially just making them. She wasn't going out and catching them, which you can do, but they do taste really good. I felt bad because like so many people in the comments were like, I could never. It's rough. If other people would farm them, then I think people should get into eating them more, yeah. But I just don't think they could do it themselves, you know? I said, you'll starve if you eat nothing but rabbits. Yeah, I know. Many people have mentioned it. Well, this lady wasn't saying only eat rabbits. She wasn't like, the only thing you should ever eat is rabbit. She was just like, if you're trying to raise animals, yeah, for food, you're trying to raise food, you're gonna get a better yield out of rabbits in general. You should eat them. She's right. I think she's right. But they're so cute. It's tough. They're really cute. I didn't personally own one, but I had a cousin who came out and lived with my family for a while, and she brought her rabbit. She had a rabbit. So I got to, like, have one kind of, sort of, not really. I could play with it when I wanted, for a bit. So I got to have kind of that experience somewhat, and I liked it, but, I don't know. I'm still more of a cat and dog person. And I'm also, like, maybe I'm just desensitized. I'm still not opposed to hunting them and stuff. They are pests on farms. So I could still do it if I needed to eat one. No problem. Oh my god, I opened my water and almost spilled it everywhere. Time for a cockroach biomass farm? Yeah. Yeah. Cockroach powder, it's time. I don't know. I think people can't get past certain things. But hey, I think cows are really cute, and then people eat a shit ton of that. So, they're just more used to it. They're more used to it. You prefer chickens because eggs every day outweigh the meat at the end? Yeah. I think that's one of those things they keep advising people to do. They're like, if you have a yard and you're trying to do like some miniature homesteading, chickens, because chickens will eat bugs. Let them out into your garden occasionally, and they eat a lot of the bugs, meaning you have fewer issues with pests. Right? It's like kind of twofold. Yeah, the weeds as well, the weeds. So a lot of people are like trying to encourage folks getting chickens, which I think is, I think it's a cool idea. It's a lot to manage though. You have to, like, you know, be able to put the time in. Not hard, you just have to be consistent, right? You have to let them out and bring them back in. But they're pretty good. Goats are good for grazing. Goats are good, but if you have not enough space and you own a goat, they will eat all of your grass down to the dirt. And then you'll have no land that is covered in grass left. So you have to have a lot of space for them. Or enough space. But I like goats. Yeah, they are cute. Farmed sheep for a while. Yeah, and they taste good. Okay, lamb is my favorite meat, and I like mutton a lot. I do. But yeah, sheep are cute. I like sheep. I like a lot of farm animals. I don't know. They're just really nice. Anything domesticated, usually, you know? They all have their charms. Not lamb chop. Oh yeah. It's my favorite. That's my favorite. No, I haven't done sheep milk ice cream. I don't think Have I had sheep milk in general? I've had sheep cheese and I've had goat cheese, right? That's like very common. I don't think I've had regular sheep milk or anything made from it. I don't think, other than cheese. I don't think so. We didn't domesticate the bad tasting ones. Oh yeah, I mean, well there are some things that taste really good that we still don't have fully farmed up, and I kind of don't get why. Maybe it's just ease more than like taste, right? What's easiest to keep? I don't know. Farm hogs are a reliable way to dispose of just about anything. Oh yeah, you just give them the scraps. There's an ongoing joke that that's how they would hide a lot of bodies. They'd throw them to the pigs. And you would just find absolutely no trace because they would eat the bones too. They'd eat everything. Did you eat the bear? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of bear. It's very oily and the flavor's like, eh. Meat's kind of stringy. It's even if you cook it as well as possible, it's not that great. Not really a huge fan of bear. No thanks. Gamey, or so they say. Well, everything from the outside is gamey, and then yeah, bear is. It's the oiliness especially, but it's just not that good. It's okay. I think if it tasted better, people would be like really going for it, but it's not that good. It's almost the way eel is very oily, but it's not as bad. Eel is like a sponge. The meat is like just a sponge where if you squeeze it, oil can come out. I find eel personally really disgusting. I'm not a fan of eel at all. But if you're out in the wilderness and you need to survive, eels are going to keep you alive because they are so calorically dense that those important fats are things that you really need that a lot of wild game might not have much of. So like eel is genuinely one of the best things you can have if you're out there. But they're so disgusting. Oh, I hate them so much. I think they're so nasty. Japanese eel. It's different, like an eel from a different place too. Some of them are worse than others, but I'm just I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Unagi's mostly Japanese, so eels might be different somewhere else. There are very different types of eel in very different areas, yeah. Yeah. Bear needs to be prepared in a specific manner. Oh. Trust and believe I was with someone who was like, this is how you cook bear. And then everyone's like, yeah, this guy knows how to cook that bear. He makes the best bear. And all the hunters are sitting around being like, oh, this guy's the best. And I was still like, yeah, I don't like that meat that much. So it was, nah, not for me. Not for me. So I heard we fish a lot of eels on the East Coast, but export the majority of it. Yeah, I don't think I've seen eel be very popular here in restaurants and stuff. Yeah, I really don't think I don't think I see that much eel like on menus and stuff. I just think it's gross. There's a lot of really good seafood on the East Coast. There's no reason to pick eel over that, realistically. So I just never see it. Is she cow tongue? Yeah, I've had cow tongue. Beef tongue is really popular, actually. But I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just kind of gross. Maybe for sushi. Yeah, that's pretty much the only place you'll see it. I never see it outside of that. And I'm a sushi hater, actually. Most types, not all. I don't go out for sushi. I don't like it. So I never see it. I just never see it. I like shellfish, some, not all of them. I don't know. I don't really like anything that tastes like the ocean. Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. I just don't. I like shrimp, lobster's okay. I don't really like crab that much. Shrimp and langoustines I go crazy about. Everything else, not really a fan. Most fish I dislike. What don't you like about sushi? Fish. Fish in general. Anything that tastes like the ocean, I hate it. Yeah, I don't like scallops. Calamari I can eat. It's better than other things, like squid and octopus, better than the other things. But yeah, most fish I just don't like, so I'm not good. Shrimp is bugs, exactly. I'm a bug eater. I love bugs. I love it. But what about crab? I already said it. Please listen. But yeah, I just hate most fishy flavored things. So you tried oysters? Oh, oysters are the worst. Oysters and clams just taste like seawater. Those are bleh, bleh. No thanks. And I also don't like most seaweeds actually because they are similarly like they're just a ocean water filtration unit, right? So they just taste like that, which is the flavor I hate the most. So whenever people are like, "Oh, here we go. I'm gonna put this kelp in here because I love that sea flavor," oysters are sea snot. Yeah, yeah. I don't like it. Langoustines look like someone grabbed a shrimp and made it long. It looks like someone grabbed a shrimp by the tiny hands and pulled on him. Gave him long arms. I like them though. I like them. If your fish tastes like the sea, you're not cooking right. Where's the spice? I think you don't get what I'm saying. I think you don't understand what I'm saying. I don't like the flavor of fish because it reminds me of the sea. Even if you cook out the worst parts of it, it still tastes like that. It still tastes like that. It is ocean flavor. And that to me is disgusting. Whitefish might be better? No. Mildly, but no. Yeah, fish tastes like fish. I'm you know, not sure if you're aware. I don't like the flavor of that. Do you have thalassophobia? No. River fish? Oh, river and freshwater fish, also disgusting. Also pretty gross. I actually think they taste worse. I think they taste like downright bad, whereas things that taste like the ocean, I'm like, oh, it's that ocean flavor that I don't like. But I'm not like, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever eaten. I'm just like, oh, I don't like that thing. Not my preference. But then river fish or freshwater, more so, just tastes like dirt to me. And then it's not even like a particular flavor. I'm just like, oh, they just, bleh. Not even fried. If it's fried, then it doesn't taste like fish anymore. Half the time. I've eaten a lot of fried catfish, and depending on where you get it, that catfish tastes a little less like that standard fishy flavor. It depends on what kind of catfish too. But the thing is, usually they cut it pretty thin and they fry it and it just doesn't even taste like fish anymore. So that's why I'm kind of okay with it, because it doesn't taste like anything. You know? Streamer, you must not eat fish properly. It's crazy when they say that to someone who grew up like near water in one of like the seafood capitals, dude. I've talked about it so many times. I grew up in a place that's known for having great seafood. I've eaten it all, man. On the coast, smelling ocean air, dude. She grew up in the fish dimension. I did. I don't like it. I don't like it. No fillet of fish from McDonald's for you? Nope. 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 I don't like it. You don't like shrimp unless fried? Really? It's fair. But then that's the same thing with like frying anything. I feel like it all it all tastes so different. It just tastes like oil. It tastes like delicious breading, you know? So you don't really like get the inside
Fun
flavor
fact,
too much.
the only way to reduce the fishy taste is to literally eat it within a day or two of catching it.
Yeah, I'm aware.
No alternatives. Fishy taste comes from it going slowly bad. So
I've eaten them
everyone in
literally
chat
the moment they were
suggesting
caught,
things
like
is just
right
making
after.
things up.
And that doesn't make me like it anymore.
I love me the Swedish caviar that comes in the tube lao.
Oh, no, that one's so gross. I've had it, actually. I've had it. Oh. What's the name of it? That's just so gross. Alfie made me try it. I think I had tried it before, but it had been so long since, and she was like, you gotta do this. And I was like, no, you know I eat fish. And she was like, try it, please. I did it for her. Gross, man. Disgusting. Isn't the fish sandwich from the fast food places always least popular item? Is it? I assume if people wanted fish, they would go to a fish spot, not like McDonald's, right?
Fun fact, the surefire way to avoid a fishy taste is to not eat it.
That's what I live by, man. That's what I live by. That's how I do it. What about semi-aquatic stuff like frogs? Similar issue. I also don't really like frog because it also tastes like the water. It's not that good. It's like weird watery chicken in flavor. It's not as bad, but I still don't like it that much. But it's okay. It's okay. It's alright. He said, growing up on the Pacific was the same. Seeing people tell my friends who didn't like fish, oh, you eat it wrong. Like, man, come on. Yeah. I've literally talked about so many times how I would go fishing as an activity, right? And or how I'd go hunting as an activity as well. And then I would talk about how I don't like a thing, and everyone would be like, but have you tried blah, blah, blah? Dude, I promise I've tried it. I promise. I've had like 5 billion different people cook me all sorts of fish in all sorts of different ways, and I try it every time to be nice, but I don't like it. I think people can't fathom not having people have the same exact taste buds and thoughts and everything as them. I think it makes them really like uncomfortable, upset. They don't know how to handle it, and then they start typing furiously because there's like something that bothers them, you know. So they're like, I have to type, and they're like letting it out, and they don't know what's wrong, but they're confused and they're crashing out, and they're lashing out at everybody, and they think they're doing it nicely, but and they realistically they are, but you know, they're just freaking out. They can't handle it, man. They can't handle it, dude. I see chatters do it to each other all the time, more than me. They do it to each other. I'll be like, oh, I love zucchini, and someone will chat, be like, I don't really like zucchini, and they'll get like 3 people replying to them and being like, you ever tried fried zucchini? Do you grill it? Have you eaten it like when it's like fresh, or like do you just buy it from like the grocery store when it's been sitting there for 5 days? Like people just start rapid fire questioning, and I'm like, brother, please, like breathe. Let's breathe. I don't know, man. A need to validate their opinion by having you agree with them. I think I've noticed that like the past, well, it's been a while, 5-10 years, I've noticed that since social media became like widely available to everybody and not just like a specific group of people on the internet kind of thing, we get exposed to other people being insecure all the time when other people don't have the same opinion as them, and they feel this like insane urge and need to try and get that person, like you said, to validate their opinion, right? Like if I'm like, I like the color red, I think it's the best one, I don't expect people to agree with me. I'm just like, this is what I like. And if everyone disagreed and they're like, I think blue's better, I'd be like, okay, but I like red because it's what I like. And that's it. And I wouldn't get uncomfortable. I would just be like, okay. But I feel like some people really like, they get worked up, and I'm not sure what exactly that is, but they get really worked up, right? And obviously the color thing is like a very easy agree to disagree kind of situation, but there's a lot where like, I think food opinions is a big one. Really big one. Like people like and dislike different things. People do this in real life too, but I feel like people like argue for longer on the internet about it, you know? So like one thing is I really, really like tomatoes when cooked. I love anything made from tomatoes, but I don't like eating raw tomatoes. I don't like it. I really, really, really hate eating raw tomatoes. I won't put them in salads. I won't put them on sandwiches. I won't put them in anything. I'll pull a tomato out if I see it on something, right? I just do not like it. I only like them when cooked. And once they are cooked, I love them. But the thing is, when I say that, someone will be like, but what about cherry tomatoes? What about this type of tomato? What about, right? They could just be like, okay. Like they have no trust and faith that I've probably tried other tomatoes. I think That's what it is. People have no faith in each other. What about Roma? You know, yeah, what about this? Right? They can't just like assume that other people know what things are. And they're just like, this person says they don't like tomatoes. They must be a person with no worldview, no experience in their life, nothing. They've probably only eaten one tomato ever and decided they hate it. I've decided they are that kind of person. I'm going to ask them if they've tried cherry tomatoes, you know? And they start like, I don't know, like they make so many assumptions about the person. And then like most people, like some do, some don't, but most people would be like, I don't like this thing. Yes, I've tried. Like I've tried it, boiled, mashed, stuck in a stew. I've tried, you know, I don't know. They assume the worst of everybody, right? Yeah, but have you tried them with sea salt? Yeah, but did you salt it? Have you put oil on it? Have you? They just can't accept what people say, dude. The other thing is, like, even if I assume, I'm like, oh, this person probably hasn't tried this way I like them or whatever, I don't ask. They said they don't like tomatoes, so I just go, okay. I'm okay with taking people at face value, you know? Like, I don't really care, you know? Like, so I'm fine being like, all right, you said it out loud, I will accept it. You know what I mean? I don't understand. Maybe it's just something I never understood because I don't have this in me to do. I never understood like the need to interrogate someone when they've said a thing about themselves to like verify its truth level. You know what I mean? Like you'll find out eventually if it's important, you know? But it's not important. Yeah, they could be lying, right? They could be wrong. I need to know if they've tried every type of tomato. I need to know if they've tried it in every format. I gotta verify if this is true. I don't know. It's this weird, like, need to verify things that don't matter that much. Or that, like, you could find out over time, but they don't want to give time. They want to know now. Right? I don't know. I've noticed that habit. And I think it's become really, really, really apparent being a streamer. Not just because people will do it to me in real time, but I'll see them do it to other chatters in real time all the time. All the time. Said when I follow up a statement about an opinion, it's mostly to expand my concept of that person. Yes, but I find that it's different when you are talking to someone in real time and you're sitting there and you're getting to know that person and you're like, the conversation right now is on tomatoes. So I'm going to ask them, you know, if they've tried this, they tried that. And you're one-on-one. It's different when that person's behind a username and you're just adding them and you're replying to them and everything you're saying is implying that you assume they've never tried this stuff, right? Because you're like more degrees separated from this person. This isn't a one-on-one conversation. You don't know like anything about them. So I see chatters get bombarded by all these questions and then that person like clams up because they feel like everyone's assuming all of this about them, right? I'm assuming they've never tried these things. I'm assuming they don't know what this is, blah, blah, blah. And then they have to explain themselves, right? Or you're putting them in a position where they have to explain themselves. And that, it just feels bad for that person, right? So it's just it's a different situation. I don't know. It's also how they ask it, because some people can ask really nicely, and then some people like, they like really go in, you know? Or sometimes they ask one question, other people will ask like 3 things rapid fire, like they're interrogating you, you know? It makes it feel very different in how they do it. And then the crowd claps at my demise. Well, that's the other thing. When you're in a big group like this, right? You have like a lot of people in the chat looking to see what your answer to the question is. You start to see factions form of the people that like agree with each other, right? Because you'll see someone be like, but I love tomatoes. I love eating them. Someone else will be like, yeah, me too. I love to just eat them with a little cheese and a little oil and salt on top. And then those people will high five in the chat. They'll be like, my man, handshake emoji. And now they're like, tomato lovers in the chat, you know? And it like, you see a faction form in front of you that disagrees with you. And you're like, oh. right? And then those people start questioning you about tomatoes, and you're like, I didn't know the tomato gang was here. I didn't know the fucking, like, they're gonna, like, air me out if I don't like the same thing as them, you know? Right? that like dynamic is really weird to watch sometimes.
Mashed versus baked potatoes are better.
Ooh.
Ready? Fight.
Depends on how you make them. Depends on what you do to them. I like both. Both are delicious because you can't fuck up potatoes too easily, dude. But yeah, I don't know. Isn't this Reddit in a nutshell? That's what happened to it, right? I would say Reddit's in like horrible late stage, whatever that is, for sure. Which is why I feel like I can't like use the website anymore. I haven't been able to for a long time. Yeah, a lot of you saying both for potatoes. Yeah, both really good. I like the skin, so I'm a good like baked potato lover, but I also like making mashed like the ultra French way where it's basically 1/3 butter. And they're so good. I think both can be good. Depends on what you like. You don't like the texture of mash? That's fine. That's fine. When you mash them, just don't like pulverize them too much. Let them stay a bit chunky. Leave the skin in, and it's good. Like use a physical handheld potato masher and just mash them like that. They're so good, so good. He said, I love it when people don't like things because I end up getting everything they don't like. Yeah, I'm one of those. Like, I've got a tomato on a sandwich, and I'm like, shit, I don't want this. I'll pull it out, and I'll be like, who wants it? And then I, like, throw a wet tomato at their plate. I'm like, yeah, and I, like a Frisbee, you know? And then someone gets a free tomato. Like, there you go. Win-win, dude. I do the same. A friend will be like, I don't like carrots very much. And I'm like, ooh, and I, like, reach over and I start stabbing the carrots and taking them off their plate. Like, ooh, my carrots, you know? I think it's a good thing, personally. More for me. Way more for me. So I'm not really like, I'm kind of hoping there are people who don't like the things that I do, because then I get some. Easy. I ate this thing with Matara that had this sauce. It's like butter / sauce pasty thing that came with it. And it had a lot of horseradish in it. Some of the people at the table were like, I don't like that. And I was like, ooh, yeah. And I was like scooping it up. And I was like, more for me. And me and Matar were like, eating this like horseradishy, buttery, creamy thing that came with this food. We were like, ooh, on the other side of the table. That shit was so good. That shit was so good. And you know what? Because other people hated horseradish, yay, I got to eat more. So that shit was delicious. Delicious. It's so good. I like really like stinky, like hard hitting foods like that, like horseradish just smacking the back of your nose. So good. So good. I love pickled anything. Pickled everything. My favorite. My favorite. Really stinky stuff. Stuff that's stinky and spicy. You said you really hate carrots? You think it, for you, it takes the same amount of effort to eat carrots as it is eating grass. Really? I like those types of flavors. I like a lot of vegetables. I like carrots a lot. I'll eat them, man. Did you try pickled herring? Oh, it's one of the worst. How much do you like mustard? I like mustard. I just don't like putting a lot of mustard on everything because I feel like it overpowers what you're eating to the point where it only tastes like mustard if you put too much. So I like a little bit on certain things. Some things that are good with mustard, I still don't want to put mustard on because I'm like, I just like this food and I want to taste this food. So I just won't put mustard on it because it really doesn't need it, you know? So I still like mustard, but, you know, regular mustard, Dijon. I'm a brown mustard type of person. I don't like yellow mustard. It's kind of, meh. Meh. No thanks. Ever try stinky tofu? I have. It is, the smell is so bad. I think the flavor's okay. I'm all right with it. It's just hard because as you're like bringing it up to your face, you're getting this like horrific smell. It's hard to get past.
On durian onigiri heavy question.
I don't like durian smell or flavor. Not a durian fan. I've tried it. 100% I've tried it. Not a fan. I would rather eat stinky tofu over durian. For sure. You had a tough time with stinky tofu in Taiwan. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I think the flavor of stinky tofu is all right though. It's okay. Jackfruit curry. Ooh, jackfruit's another one that kind of does that. No thanks. No thanks. I'm good. Should get the black kind of sticky tofu. I've tried a few different ones. A few different. I just ugh. Ugh. Well, thank you. I said you've never had kimchi before. How's it taste? Okay, so the base is usually, for standard, it's cabbage. Kind of crunchy water of what you're physically chewing on, right? Some of it's the white part of the cabbage, so more crunchy, and then some of it's like a softer leaf because it's been sitting in liquid and fermenting. It is pickled, so it's put into a brine. Now it's not put into a super wet brine usually. They take each leaf and they salt it in between each leaf, and then they put a paste on it. Now there are a couple things in it. It's mostly gochugaru, which is that red pepper that's in most Korean foods. It's a peppery, it's a red pepper flavor and taste. It's a little bit like a chili, a little bit like a chili pepper, slightly. It's just kind of its own pepper flavor though, somewhere in between like red bell pepper, chili pepper kind of flavor. It's in that pepper family. It doesn't taste just like those things, but that's the closest if you've eaten just a lot of like standard white people food. You know, what is it called? Gochugaru. It's basically just pepper powder. It's just a red pepper. It's really good. I like it. It's a bit spicy. Kimchi doesn't have to be too spicy depending on how much of that they use and if they use a spicier powder or not. But it's mostly that. Now, when you make the paste, you put other sauces and things in there. Typically, it's not just pure gochujang. There's other stuff. Sometimes they put a little fish sauce, a little oyster sauce, things like that. Sometimes they put sesame oil in there. Everyone's recipe is a little different, but it's just that in a paste, and then they spread that on each leaf and then leave it and let it ferment. And there you go. So the fermentation takes those flavors, and on top of them, you get this acidic, sharp flavor. And I would say it's like a little bit of a sourness. It's not so much as a flavor as it is a sensation. So you get the tastes of that red pepper paste and whatever they decided to put in the paste for their recipe, and it's a little salty. You get that flavor, and then you also get this, like, the same way pickles have this sour sensation, you get that from the kimchi a little bit. So if you mix that sensation, like if I'm trying to describe it, you mix that pickled sensation, yeah, the bite or whatever, the sharpness and the sourness from it being pickled with the red pepper flavor, and then whatever sauces they've decided to put into their paste and their brining liquid. So, yeah, but it's good. I like it. And you can eat kimchi alone. It is its own thing, but it's usually a side dish. So there's a plate of it just thrown on the table with everything else, with all the other side dishes. And when you're eating things, you tend to throw some of that in it or on it. You know, or you make a stew out of it so you get that flavor, but it's mixed with other stuff as well. So I will just eat it alone, but like my favorite way to eat it is you're grilling or making some sort of meat, and then you're eating it with the meat specifically. The same way when you eat pickles, yeah, you eat pickles, but also people like put them on burgers and things like that. It's the same idea. But it's so good. It's so good. You want Korean barbecue? Me too. Me too. I'm not gonna go eat Korean barbecue tonight, but now I'm like, should ask people if they want to pivot. But no. I got good food plans today. Good food plans. It's a nice palate cleanser. It is. It is. If you're eating a lot of foods and you eat kimchi in the middle, it clears all of that shit out. All that shit out. And even though it has like a tiny bit of spice to it, it's not really like, it's a strong flavor on its own. It's easy to eat something after and get rid of the kimchi flavor, in my opinion. It's good. Kimchi ramen's good. I just like kimchi jjigae, which is just like kimchi stew. You throw some other shit in there. You can put anything in there realistically, but the base is just you throw kimchi in a pot with water, and you start there, and then you start like adding some pastes to it to make it a little more strong. I love that shit. Wish more cuisines did the Korean banchan thing. I don't know. It's easier because a lot of that stuff is pickled, so it stays for a long time. It's like heavily salted, heavily pickled, heavily preserved, right? So keeping all these little separate side dishes in your fridge for a long time is easy. But if you tried to make all these side dishes of things and they weren't specifically done like that, they're not going to be well preserved. And I don't know. I just feel like it's hard for like a home cook to make that work. You know, like your shit would just go bad. You'd have to go through it so fast. But a lot of Korean food, they didn't really have refrigeration for a long time, and they didn't have access to anything but like salt for preservation. So pretty much everything was like pickled and salted to death and whatever to keep it like okay. You'd be willing to try white kimchi? There are so many types of kimchi and types. You should just try a lot of them. Kimchi basically, when you say it out loud, people think of the standard cabbage type, but there's so much you can make. And if you just say blank kimchi, it usually just means that thing but pickled and preserved. So yeah, some people will have like 10 different types of kimchi in their fridge and they don't really taste that alike. They're very different things. So kimchi must be great as a hot dog topping. It's one of, yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. If I were making hot dogs, I would straight up get a pan and slap kimchi in it and heat it. I like to grill it a little bit if I can, and then I just throw that on the hot dog and eat it. It makes you not want to put relish or mustard on there because it already has like a sharp flavor, and then it's something crunchy because it's on there. It's so good, man. It's so good. It's my favorite. You said Viet food has this problem. Some dishes have a lot of side dishes that are usually made fresh, and it's a lot of work to make it preserve. Yeah, yeah. I feel like that makes it tough. Don't they have special kimchi fridges? That's something that some people do. Most people just keep it in their normal fridge. That's like that's a thing that people say because it's unique, and they start to think that like everyone does it, but not really. The only thing is kimchi can kind of stink up your fridge, depending on how you have it preserved and or not preserved, but how you have it sealed, like the container it's in. So it can make your entire fridge stinky. So some people might have the same way you might have like the garage freezer, and then you put like meat in the garage freezer, stuff like that. Some people might have a fridge that they put kimchi and shit in. But the thing is, if you're making it yourself, you can store a lot of it not cold. It shouldn't really be in the fridge. You just have it in a jar somewhere, and it's just going. You don't need to refrigerate it, so, you know. It depends on how it's made, though. It really depends. Store-bought, if it's been refrigerated already, you probably should keep it in the fridge. But when you're making it yourself, I know plenty of people that will just, it needs to be in a cool, dry place, but it doesn't need to be cold. I've always fermented here, so room temp is fine. The whole point is it is salted heavily. It doesn't really end up getting nasty and having bacteria in it. They can't really live in it if you're doing it properly, so... yeah, you don't need that. Gotta bury it in the ground for the authenticity. Yeah, you have to do it in a giant pot in this huge like clay thing, and it has to be, it's like an urn, and it has to be 5,000 pounds, and you and an elderly woman have to lift it out of the ground. That's how you have to do it. Anybody ever experienced that? Anybody ever experienced an elderly Korean woman being like, dig in this spot, there's a pot here, and then you dig, and she's like, now take it out, and as you grab, you keep pulling, and it keeps going, and you realize this urn is like 2 feet tall. Shit is fucked up. It's really fucked up. I had this one lady, she was making some sauces, some pastes at home, and I had to like help her lift the shit out of the ground. She had this jar. She was making, what was she making? She was making kanchang, which is like basically soy sauce. This is like paste version of it that you're making like primarily before it becomes proper soy sauce, and it separates into like 2 sauces when you make it. So there's like the liquidy stuff that comes off, and that's its own sauce, and then there's the paste that's left over, and that is a different sauce, and they both taste different. I was helping her like get her pot out of the ground for this shit, and it's just fucked up. Wonder how they make the paste. Just look it up. Just look it up. There are tons of videos of people making these in villages and stuff like that, so you'd see it. Tons. Closest experience for you is an 18-hour crawfish boil. Oh my god, yeah. Or if you've ever been to a full pig roast, one of the ones where they like bury it with banana leaves and then you have to get it out of the ground again. You have to get it out of the coals. And someone's like, lift up the pig, and it's you and one other guy touching like hot metal, trying to get the shit out of the ground. That's just fucked up. Yeah, Kahlua pig. So good. So good. I've had it like in a lot of different styles, but I think doing it buried with banana leaves and like the proper Kahlua style. Oh my god. So good. So good. Do you ever play the game where they throw the squares at the ground? What? Are you talking about cornhole? Like the beanbags? Throw squares at the ground. Oh, no, you're talking about the Korean one. Fuck. Wait, where you make a little paper one and you're trying to throw it at the other one and flip it? Fuck, what is that called? My brain keeps saying tanmuji, which is just like a fermented, thing. What the fuck is that called? Absolutely, yes, I've played that. I can't remember. My brain keeps saying tanmuji, which is a food. It's not the right word. Oh, is it dakji? Is it dakji? Hold on. Yes. Oh, that's why my brain was saying tanmuji, because it's dakji. Oh my god, yeah, I love it. You fold a piece of paper into like a square, and it looks like it's folded into itself envelope shape. And then you try to slam one at the other. They're both folded the same way, and you have to flip it. It's fun, man. Yeah, they played it in Squid Game, didn't they? I think people might have seen it there. That's a solid school time game. You just fold up paper. That shit is hard. It's hard as fuck. Yeah, there's a Korean version of Cornhole. Yeah, no, very, very, very different game. It's kind of like Pogs a little bit, kind of. You're throwing one square that's kind of flat at another square on the ground, folded up, and trying to flip it. So you throw it as hard as you can, and you try to hit the edge. Because the way it's folded, the edge is lifted up off the ground just slightly, so you hope you can like hit it and you know, it'll flip. It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, dakji is a classic. There's I don't remember what it's called. There's also one, it's kind of like paper football. And you would fold up paper into a similar square like that, like the dakji one, but you make it smaller. And then you play it like, wow, why can't I remember any of the names? It's the game that you play where you take a Go board and you take the pebbles and you're trying to flick them at the other pebbles. You play that, but with the paper. That was one that I used to do a lot. Yeah, Dark Souls. That's the game.